podcast and the other one,
What's that?
we don't have douchebags jumping on here talking about you guys are late. It said that you were scheduled for.
No, we don't. No, we don't. You know what we do have? And look,
Family.
this might change once the show. Well, this is definitely going to change
No,
once the
without
show really blows, right? But what we do have is people who are
a
anxious.
particular set of skills. My bad.
Well, yeah, that too. But people that are anxious for the Saturday morning cartoons. Like, I will get hit up. Like, yo, no show today? Y'all doing show?
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
And not just people watching out of obligation, but because they're actually engaged and all that.
Niggas, where y'all at?
Anytime if we're a little late, or we didn't have it, but we didn't tell anybody we wasn't having a show today, I will get inbox messages. Yo, y'all doing a show today? Yo, y'all doing a show today? So I'm just saying, Saturday morning cartoons is back. Bars is back.
Yeah, bro. Are you on the plane or you in the airport?
You going back to Baltimore? Hey, Fad, don't we bringing that Rona back up here? They started open. They open shit up.
He full vex.
Oh my man, Mighty Mike Gleason.
What up, Big Mike? Yeah, my pretty much all of my inner circle. Pretty much all of my inner circle was full vex. Yo, funny enough, my mother. I'm gonna say it for the show.
Yeah, you gotta say it for the show.
God damn it.
Biddy, what's going on?
Hey, Biddy.
This is our pre-show, whatever.
This is the coat chat.
Yeah, exactly.
This coat chat. Little tired and sore. Hey, take it easy, Big Mike.
Yeah, man. Don't try to
get
do it
that
all
rest
in
when
one
you
day.
need it, man.
Yeah, don't try to do it all in one day. Oh shit! Here comes trouble.
We miss a week, and people come in here like they missed us or something.
Saturday morning cartoons, bro.
Saturday morning cartoons. Light on.
I noticed you're a little dark over there. You know what I'm saying?
It just takes so much work to turn this light on, man.
I mean, you literally just have to reach your arm out and hit the button.
No.
Oh, that's right. You only have to do that. This guy is ass.
No, I'm just saying, yo. I gotta press buttons and shit.
I'm not
slide my finger, slide my thumb.
I'm not even going to chastise you or scold you for that, because just last week we was doing the Ride show. I did not want to plug my camera in. So
all you had to do was reach out and touch somebody.
Literally, I just had to. So I'm not even going. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk my shit. Nope.
I got my Ritz crackers that I stole from Fab House.
Hope you got some. You don't think you got enough water though? No, you stole them from Fab's house.
No, I really don't have enough water. No, I'm not about to eat them.
Oh, okay. Biddy said she just got finished sweeping and made a cup of Joe. Kind of forgot the time was already. Yeah, we early though. We like 15 minutes or so early.
A little early. Yeah, a little early. Dang. That's all right. Well, I can tell how I stole the crackers.
Yeah, how did you steal the crackers? Because I do have two things for the week, my week wrap up. Nothing real big, just two things. But
I got questions. Okay, it's been more than 1 week. So
it has been more than 1 week.
Yeah,
but it's only two things that stood out to me for real.
No, I get you. But
other than the one thing.
Oh yeah. So while Fab was in Miami, I was on fish duty.
You was fishing?
No, that would have been the pretty much opposite of what I was.
Okay.
No, I was feeding his fish. I was going
okay.
His house every day.
Yeah, that would be the opposite. That would
be the opposite. Yeah,
that would be.
And what had happened was I had procured some.
Keep that thought. Gotta say, New Jack died, yo.
I saw it yesterday. And here's the thing.
Wow.
perplexed by the love and support
Really?
that I saw.
They were doing that?
Yeah.
They were doing
And I'm
that?
like,
That's not what y'all.
on.
That's not
Like,
what
I
y'all.
literally, like a couple months ago, just watched the documentary about the mass transit incident where he like tried to kill a guy in the ring.
Yes.
Actually, he's done that more than once.
Yes.
And everybody talking about how much of a piece of shit he was.
They can't. I've only seen one person, one wrestler, say that they was cool with him.
Right.
Every other wrestler I've ever heard talk about him was like, he's a piece of shit.
Now,
there, bro.
What I've been seeing hasn't been from wrestlers. It's been from fans and media outlets.
Fans ain't got to work with him.
But but these are some of the same media outlets that were running the shit stories on him.
It's corny.
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily disagree with their initial takes.
Either.
He is was a piece of shit. You can't actively try to kill people in a scenario where your entire job is to keep them safe.
Yeah, it's the dumbest. Yo, he was on that shit.
It's the definite. Yo, it's the most counterproductive thing since you just suggested that I was fishing when I was watching fish. it's that level of contradiction.
That's facts. That's facts.
Your entire job is to, one, keep the person in there with you safe.
Right.
That's your first job. And you literally tried to kill people on several occasions.
Right.
Well, okay. Tried to kill somebody on one occasion, but had wanton disregard for people's lives in other occasions.
And also, those are the occasions we know about.
Right.
Because the type of person that he was, you know that even before all of that, he was on something.
And he was doing some indies, and that shit might not have got reported. Or
yeah.
So I'm never the one. I wasn't expecting or hoping to see after he died people continue to bash him.
Right.
That wasn't the case.
I didn't even. To be honest, it never even crossed my mind what people would say.
Right.
Because I didn't care.
Right.
If I didn't care.
I definitely wasn't expecting R.I.P. New Jack and all this other. Like, what? What is? I mean, and not just R.I.P. Like, clearly that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. But like the additional stuff that we took, nobody has tried to canonize him so far. Because
I think it's probably impossible.
Yeah,
I think it's impossible to
all credibility.
Right.
But I've seen beyond the RIPs. I've seen the extra step that people go through.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I just watched
that energy
your
seems
outlet.
Weird. Yeah,
I just watched your outlet talk shit about him, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I guess
confusing mess.
I mean, I guess it's a scenario where like communities be communities, yo. So
facts.
It's a relatively small community, and when you lose one of your own, it has an effect, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's what that is. That makes sense. But I was like I said, when I saw the news, I was like, huh, dang.
And the thing about that is, so for other wrestlers that have either killed themselves or and killed others, like Chris Benoit, that energy, at least initially, was gone.
Completely gone. They did the Chris Benoit thing was so bad. They did WWE used to do tribute shows when one of their active wrestlers died. And they did one for Chris Benoit because they didn't know all the details. They did it. I think he died on a Sunday. So the very next night was the show.
Yeah, he was supposed to go to the show.
Supposed to be at that pay-per-view.
Yeah, he's supposed to be at that pay-per-view.
He's supposed to win the title. Actually, he's supposed to win a title that Sunday. That's the day that he did it. Then Monday, they had a show and they scrapped all their plans, turned it into a tribute show.
Right.
Then like Tuesday, the info came out. So by that next Monday, they like apologized in a way.
Yeah. I saw that.
And then since then, there's not been another tribute show.
Nope, and it won't be. You won't see it.
Yeah,
you won't see it.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is like the whole situation was absolutely horrible.
Oh, absolutely.
It was worse than you could even have imagined.
Yo, talking about
from that
second guessing your life choices, right?
Facts.
So for people that aren't familiar with the history of wrestling, at least in the 90s, there was a guy named Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan was one of the head bookers at WCW. A booker is just somebody who writes the storylines and how everything's supposed to go and everything.
Right.
He had a wife named Nancy. Her wrestling name was
Fallen Angel or one. Well, yeah. Originally, I think it was Fallen Angel, and they changed it.
Mm-hmm. So Kevin wrote in the storyline that Chris Benoit and Nancy had an affair, and Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan were fighting over that. That was their personal feud that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they ended up actually getting close, and she left Kevin Sullivan for Chris Benoit.
Yeah. Like in real life.
In real life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Talk about your life choices.
The tragic thing to happen the way that it happened. Now, granted, this was years later.
Yeah, it was, but it was some telltale signs. When I watched one documentary, I'm gonna tell you, man, when Eddie Guerrero died, that shit broke Benoit,
bruh. Yes.
It broke
absolutely.
him.
He cried on screen.
It broke.
He cried during the tribute show.
All of the people that were closest to him in his life, from Eddie's wife Vicky. And when they interviewed her, she was like, the only thing that was keeping him like stable and sane was his friendship with Eddie Guerrero. And first of all, you got issues if that's the case, point blank. Yeah. Eddie had his own demons he was fighting too, right? You know what I'm saying? So if Eddie's the one that's keeping you, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy, right? But when he died, it's like something to him was broken. Then all those concussions that man took, when they did the autopsy on that man's brain, and they said it was like he had the brain of a 90-year-old.
Because of all the concussions and all the drugs. And
yeah. It's like there were forces coming together to make that night, that fateful night, possible. It was his forces coming together to make that night possible. Yeah. Like crazy. I saw the Iron Sheik losing his mind in an interview about that.
Yeah.
Like just going off.
Oh yeah.
Tears in his eyes, cussing Benoit ass out. Like,
absolutely. Clearly it happened, but you don't do that.
Nah, come on.
And then to take the I hate to say it. I'm not gonna say that, but to do what he did the way that he did it, you don't do that.
Come on.
But not a defense, but just the facts. He wasn't in his right mind.
He wasn't. Oh, listen, you cannot look at that brain scan.
Yeah.
And think that there wasn't. Come on, dog. He wasn't. I don't believe as disturbed as he was, because mind you, he was wrestling for years. I don't believe that if he had been in his right state of mind, that's something he would. Clearly he wasn't, and I don't think that gets talked about enough. But when I saw that scan and they broke down what that shit was, I went, "Come on, yo, this is obvious. He wasn't right."
Well, what's happened is, I can tell you what happened with those same outlets that I was talking about with New Japan. What happened is earlier they avoided talking about him. About Benoit.
Right.
Now they freely talk about him. They don't like make excuses and all that shit like that.
Right.
But they really talk about his in-ring stuff.
Prowess, yeah. Because the truth is, had that not happened and he had never did that horrible shit,
come on,
he would have went down in wrestling history as one of the GOATs.
Absolutely, without question.
You know, like one of the GOAT performers, in-ring performers, and also somebody who I would even argue got much better with the story-driven stuff as time went on, being able to be on the mic, his mic work got better. Like now, that's probably a testament to the WWE and the way they got their system set up there, where you gonna have to get good or you gonna get gone.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Get good or get gone.
Yeah, get good or get gone. They even had to reteach Booker, because of the way he was trained over in when he was in the WCW Farm League and then made it to WCW. They had to retrain him, and I kind of see that too, because he was real loose with a lot of his shit. Now, to be honest, somebody that was tight but loose when he shouldn't have been, that came from the WWE's Farm League, D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown was so tight sometimes, it was amazing. But then when he do that running power bomb, it looked out of control. It looked out of control, and I was like,
well, I mean, he paralyzed the man.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why I wasn't, when that happened, I wasn't really that surprised when that happened, because every time you seem to, it looks out of it. Like, what? There's a few times I seen him nail it where it looked like he was in full control, but a lot of the times, that shit was just, no, B, you ain't getting me up in that. No, you're not getting me up in that. You getting shot at. If I get up in it and survive, you getting shot after the match. No, absolutely not. It's some wrestlers that was like that. Like with simple moves. Some moves are simple, but it's hard. The DDT is literally one of the hardest moves to fake. It's one of the hardest moves to fake. Power driver too. Power driver, like the head, the hair has to be in a certain position. You know what I'm saying? And you saw with what's the name? Owen Hart did to Stone Cold.
Yep.
It was obvious. Like when I saw it, where his head was positioned, I was like,
you're not supposed to see his head.
No.
You're not supposed to see his head.
No.
That's not gonna be good. Let me go get another water. I'll be right back.
Bet. What you say, Mike? Luckily, I'm probably too big for that move. Yeah. You know what? I think you might be too tall. I don't recall D'Lo getting dudes your height in that move all that often. And I don't recall that. You know what I'm saying? Because he definitely had the upper body strength to get big people up in it. But I think the height and the leverage and all of that, I think they'd have had an issue. He'd had an issue trying to get you up in that move.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
My man, Fat Pablo say, remember the powerbomb combo that Jericho had back in WCW? I do remember that. Boom. All right, let's get this intro out of the way so we can get into it. Welcome, everyone, to the Black Culture Geeks podcast. This is my man, SPJ. And I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and we are just a couple of geeks talking about pop culture from a black perspective. Facts indeed. Now we have what I think is going to be a fun show today. You know what I'm saying? Although forewarning, it probably won't be as long as we usually go because we do have some other business to take care of today. And we're hoping that it actually gets taken care of today. Okay. But
right. I mean, it's a crapshoot at this point.
It's a crapshoot. If we get it, it's gonna be lit.
It's great.
If we don't,
it's great.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But that said, we got some things we want to talk about today. But before we do that, how was your last 2 weeks? We wasn't here.
Yeah, we missed a week. We don't usually do that. It was for good reason. Tim was getting his superpowers.
I was getting my powers.
So, we actually we're gonna talk about that later. That's all a part of one.
It's
of
all
the
part of
topics.
that. Right.
So my week. God. Oh, I wrote some stuff down. They keep giving your boy credit. And
they should never give you credit.
No, shut up. I mean,
I try as much as possible to not.
Remember, I said that my goal with those 2 credit cards was to get them to the point where I could get my computer.
Yeah. You want to get a new computer?
Now, I'm not going to do this, but technically, I was like, all right. So basically, my homeboy was looking for a new car. He had a very specific set of requirements.
Skills? Oh.
No, requirements that were kind of impossible to all come to fruition the way that he had it set up. Fab and I tried to warn him. He had to experience on his own.
Right.
Okay.
No, well, hold on 1 second. Fab just said, so Toon will be a level 9 zombie and we will need enchanted weapons to defeat him.
That is true. That's true. That's why I'm on this side. I don't have to worry about that. Unless he turns into Injustice Superman. But anyway, we won't get to that. So me and Fab tried our best to guide him through the fact that specific package that he was looking for was pretty much impossible. Like I said, he's a little stubborn, just like Fab and I are.
Right.
So we weren't knocking him for it.
Right. You want what you want.
We was with him the whole way. We went on the journey with him. Literally, right. We went to Virginia. We went. Yeah, we literally went. We went out to Laurel. Yo,
you was out. Y'all came to Asgard.
Listen. Funny as shit. So, test driving cars, right? I was always under the assumption I've never test driven a car, right? My first car that I bought, my Corolla.
My Corolla.
No, not at all. The main reason that I didn't test drive that one was because it was a 2005 Corolla. I think I got it in 2011 or 2012, and it only had 33,000 miles on it.
Oh, damn.
So it wasn't driven at all.
Right.
So I didn't test drive that one. All right, fine. My Camry, I went on a test drive, but I didn't drive.
Right.
So I was able to see how it feels and all that other good stuff. And I don't regret it. So that's pretty much my experience with test driving. But I was like, all right, it's 4 of us. They're not gonna let all of us go on the test drive.
Why not?
That doesn't make sense. Because why the fuck would you do that?
Well, listen.
Plus it's me and Fab. I'm sure you've heard of us. I don't care. Listen. I don't care if you haven't actually. I'm sure you've heard of us. So that was my thought going in when we decided that we were going to go on this fucking crusade.
Right.
So we get to the place. We're looking at the car. It's out of his range, the price that he was looking for. He knew that. He told the guy that. The guy still insisted that he did a test drive. So, all right, cool. So we went out to the car, and I'm like, the whole time while we went to the car, I'm like, he's not saying nothing. All right, cool. We can probably all go. So me and Fab get in the back. Me and Fab get in the back seat. My homeboy get in the driver's seat.
Right.
Now the salesman is walking around the car, telling us about features and all this other type of stuff, telling us about the warranty and all that other type of stuff. And then he says the words, so before you pull off, and Fab and I look at each other like, hold on. and Fab was like, wait, you're not going with us? He was like, no, I can't.
Let me ask you a question. What was the melanin content of said salesman? Interesting.
So
interesting.
He was like, "No, I can't go with y'all because of the COVID thing."
Oh
blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
right.
And I'm like, "Yo, that makes so much sense."
Right.
All right. Yeah. So he handed my homeboy this little form and stuff that you got signed when you go take the test drive. He said, take it out for like 9-10 minutes, come back, see how you like.
Why did he do so, man?
So we left a lot. We driving on the main streets, and he like, my homeboy's like, "Oh wait, no, I want to see what it's like on the highway." I'm like, all right, cool. We get on the highway. We only go the on how the highway generally they go against each other. So if you get on the highway, 1 or 2 exits, you're back at the place. Yeah. So we did that, and this motherfucker says, "Let me see if I can get on base." Mind you, Fort Meade. He is a veteran, Navy, and he has a service-connected disability.
Right.
So we weren't sure because we've been talking about this for the longest time because Fab, everybody was in the Army, and he was our plug for shopping on the base because it's duty free.
Right.
And my other homeboy was always like, I want to know if I can get on. I wonder if I can get on. But he was always scared to go because he didn't want to get there, and they'd be like, "No, you can't get." And then
now you play too much.
Other potential shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You play too much. You trying to figure out what you're doing. What you
right.
Yeah, so nobody want that.
He was like, "Let's find out if I can get on." So we get to the base. We got on the base. We went to the market. We went to get lunch.
Hey, that's some shit. That sounds like longer than 10 goddamn minutes. That's what that sounds like.
While we're getting lunch, the dude finally calls my homeboy.
Of course. Of course, you cretins. You thieving cretins.
And he's like, yeah, so where are you? Where are you? And my homeboy was like, yeah, we got lost.
How, Sway?
Listen. That's what was said. Apparently, that's what was accepted. So we get back, we pull up next to the place, but like outside of view of the door. Me and Fab hopped out with the bags, jumped in the other car.
Y'all shouldn't have came back. Like, let him go back.
Well, that's basically what happened. Yeah. So he parked the car, took the keys in, and we sitting there. I grabbed my food, start eating. I finished my food. This nigga still not back.
Your ill-gotten food.
I mean, listen. I was hungry, my guy. I ain't going. Anyway, you had to
go to a military, but you were hungry, so you had to go to a military base.
Listen.
This nigga.
It was Panda Express. Come on now.
Last I heard,
had my chopsticks.
So, as a former denizen of Asgard, there's a Panda Express outside the base.
We didn't go there for Panda Express. We went there to see if he can get on base. And since we were in Rome,
oh jeez.
Anyway, so I finished my food. And Fab like, yo, is he okay?
No.
Because it had been a minute and he still wasn't outside. Anyway, he turned out fine. But so that was that.
I thought it was gonna be the police was up there.
No.
Shackles.
No. It was a very eventful 2 weeks. Anyway, that happened. Back to the credit thing. So I said, that was my goal for the 2 cards was to get them to the point where I can get my new computer.
Right.
So I was like, all right, with all this credit stuff, I have like 8 or so different places that give me a credit score.
Right.
And I had to tell my homeboy because he had looked on, I think, Credit Karma and saw his score. And then he was surprised at what the dealership told him his score was.
Right.
So, like I told him, telling everybody out there, in general, I don't know if this is 100% facts, but this is a rule of thumb that you can go by.
Right.
Always assume this. If they're not pulling a hard inquiry on your credit, then it's an estimate.
Right.
It's not your actual credit score.
Right.
So it could be off. So for Credit Karma, right? My homeboy's Credit Karma score was 40 points higher than the score they pulled. My Credit Karma score, when I got that first credit card, was 40 points lower. So I have no idea how accurate or how often how far away or any of that. I just know that if they aren't pulling a hard inquiry, they don't have your actual credit score. So, like I said, I had like 8 things that give me my credit score. The second highest one happened to be my bank. So I started thinking, like, I've been with them for years. Let me see if they give me a credit card.
Right.
They gave me a card that I could absolutely get that computer with now.
What? What's up, Og? Og says Credit Karma uses a different scoring model that very few lenders pull. The most accurate score that he knows is the FICO score.
They gave me a card with which I could get the computer.
So my question to you is: this was yesterday or during the course of the week? This happened during the middle of the week?
I don't remember. Sometime.
But so it couldn't have been yesterday.
No.
So my question to you is:
Thursday?
Why aren't you now broadcasting from a brand new
number one
ray tracing computer?
for all of the logistic reasons behind that, sir. Number one, even if I had bought a computer the day that I got the card, that I got approved for the card, it wouldn't be here yet. Number two,
Prime, get a Prime, I think.
Number two, the card isn't here yet.
Oh, damn. They can't get you. Listen,
United States Postal Service is in shambles, my guy.
But my question
is, I'm lucky if I get mail once a week.
that's ass. But look, let me explain. Whoa. So what the hell's going on? Because we can't get it to slow down. So my turnaround.
What probably happens is you live in College Park and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. So your local postal service might be more well funded and well staffed. With my particular
we did have a problem at some point, but that was last year, and now it's like,
oh no, the post office in whole is still in shambles, but some portions of it have recovered.
Right.
What happened in my particular route, the guy who did it is he retired and they never filled his position.
We had a guy retired too.
So we don't have a dedicated person doing our
it took them a while to get us somebody that was dedicated. We kept getting different people.
So I'm lucky, like I said, I'm lucky if I get mail once a week. I got the little app that tells you what your mail is supposed to be coming. I have several things that are supposed to be coming. Like, they're just not here because the mail hasn't been delivered yet. But yeah, so but number 3, I'm not going to do it yet. I'm still going. I'm gonna build that card up a little bit.
Okay.
So that I won't just eat the whole card.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So
I feel you.
Yeah. Let me see.
Let the record show there's ray tracing in your future.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, listen.
Because
it's absolutely coming.
Because listen, that shit is different, bro. It's different.
Bruh. Listen,
it's different.
I'm happy that I am the responsible person that I have grown into because
you would have been, I know you'd have been
the scenario that got me. The reason I'm so excited about my credit these days is because of the dumbass mistakes
that you made in the past. Right.
Me and Fab tell this joke when we were 19. We financed our first car together. If you offered us $1 million right now to tell you the APR on that loan,
you'd be out of $1 million.
We'd be fucked. We had no idea.
Mike said you need to get that RTX 3080. Now I got the 3060 Ti. That shit right.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's coming. It's coming. I just need a few more months to build a little bit more. Because like I said, I don't want to just completely.
No, you don't want to bust it. You don't want to bust it. Yeah, I feel you.
Not at all. But yeah, so that's that. I've also been getting for the first time, really, I've been convinced enough to start looking into. That's funny, Fab. Crypto. because of that, it's the convergence of things because of all the credit shit happening had me like more actively looking at my financial shit in general,
right? And
then on top of that, the thing I told everybody about 2 weeks ago with the helium coins and all that. So it got me to finally sit my ass down and look into this thing. And yeah, so that's
a good look.
That's the new hotness.
I think for me, I looked into it but didn't. And up until fairly recently, because of you actually and that thing you sent me. So yeah.
Absolutely. Mike, I'm the one that sent him the link and told him to hit you with it.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sitting at. Let me see. I'm sitting at a hot
what?
Hold up. I'm sitting at a hot 58 of them things right now. Damn. A hot 58 of them things. So,
damn, I got a little less than half of that. You know what I'm saying? But I started after you too, so
yeah. I mean, 2 days after me.
So that makes that much of a difference?
No,
God damn.
No, yeah. I've been hustling. I've been.
Hey,
what you doing? Hey, fill us out. Yo,
I ain't been doing that.
This is the mark of a true friend. You did it, Eddie did it, and my homeboy that was
my daughter did it.
Looking for the car. He did it. I was like, well, no, I'm sorry. He didn't do mine. We got brought in by the same person, but something else I sent him. He did it. I was like, this is the mark of a true friend. If I send you something and your response is, this is what his response was. All right, done. What's this? That is the mark of a true friend. You're welcome, Ogma. I hear Eddie. I was like, yo, I sent you, Eddie, and Chris the same message.
Right.
Hey, do this. Don't ask me no goddamn questions. Do it now. All Chris asks questions because Chris has to ask questions. But I stuck by my guns and said, no, read.
Right.
If you're that curious about it, read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it.
Right.
If you're that curious, if this is not a knock. This is if you don't trust my guidance on it.
Right. You need to research it because
read it.
That's across the board.
Yes, absolutely.
Now,
I will never be mad at somebody. The only thing that I'll be mad about that is if I suggest something and you blatantly disregard it.
Right.
If we're friends. But if I suggest something and you like, I need more information, great.
Right.
Read.
Right.
Because you might see something that I missed.
Right. Ikra, read. Read.
Mm-hmm.
And again, listen, I don't know enough about it and haven't been as interested in it to know stuff about it as you do. So when you said, yo, look, just do this, that's a question, I was like, oh, bet.
Right.
It kept my day going. Right. It kept my day. Oh, let me send it to my daughter.
Right. Because certain people know. I mean, you know, like I've started saying this way more often. Than
What's up, Jonathan?
What's going on, Jonathan? That I'm comfortable saying, but I've run across more reasons to have to say it. I'd be right. I'd be right.
Let me just say this. To all of you out there. What I'm gonna need you to do is stop giving this man ways to be right. Because it's really y'all. It's really y'all.
Is on my side, man.
Listen, it's really y'all that's doing this.
Is on my side.
It's not. Universe don't.
I'll be right.
Universe don't be caring. You know what the problem is?
No. My argument is not necessarily that it cares.
Oh, you're on the universe's side. You're on the universe's side.
Even if it's happenstance.
Right. Here's the issue. The issue is, it's the people. The people be dumb.
It's right? Because I'm an observer of people.
And because of this, what I want people to do, and if you want to neuter this, if you want to take the power,
hold up, wait. Why are you encouraging our listeners to be haters?
Well, no, not haters, smarter. Because listen, if all of us benefits when all the rest of these people get smarter.
Listen, I don't care either way. Either way, I benefit.
No, exactly. This is how he benefits. This is how he benefits. Because not only does he get the benefit of whatever good stuff comes from him being correct and him acting on being correct, but he also gets moments like this to be able to say, "Yo, I'll be right.
I'll be right."
Stop being dumb.
I hate saying that because it comes across as fucking cocky, and I fucking hate anybody that knows me for real knows that's not me. But it's just that I be right about shit, and I be mad when people act like I don't be right about shit that I'm right about. Like it's one thing. It's one thing if you catch me on one of the times when I'm not right, and you dwell on that. I'm not gonna personally like it, but I understand and I get it. That's fair play. But when you talk about the stuff that I'm right about, and you use stupid logic as to why it's a problem for me to say it, that bothers me.
Well, here's the other issue with that as well, because this is something I have run across. I still run across now, and it's annoying, right? When you're typically a bit more thoughtful, a bit more prudent in the claims you make, so that you tend to be outright wrong less.
Yeah.
And other people who don't have the same restrictions or limitations on the claims they make, or the same standard of evidence that convinces them that doesn't convince you, they tend to be wrong more, feel a way about it, and can't wait for you to be wrong.
Oh my God, it's the worst. Like, I've mentioned this on the show. Like, two of my friends in my close circle, they literally talk about me to my face. Like, we'll be in the room together having a conversation, and something will trigger, and they just them talking about me as if I'm not right here.
Nigga, that happens.
And it's like, nigga, what are you? Yo, stop being dumb.
I've literally seen you and Addie do that.
Facts. That's true. That's true. But the issue is, it's usually on something that I was right about that they didn't like how. Maybe they didn't like how I approached it.
Well, you get more bees with.
Listen,
you catch more. You catch. They always say you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, but I always say then
vinegar's
who
more
the
effective.
fuck wants flies?
Right, vinegar's more effective. Exactly. Like I love them dearly, but fuck how they feel about
flies?
the truth.
No, I don't like flies. You mean your flies? I got you.
I love them dearly, but fuck how they feel about the truth.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much anybody.
And I'm less pragmatic with my close people to me, simply because they know how and who I am, and I don't have to waste the time with useless platitudes.
Right. I have,
but
I'm shorthand. Man.
Yeah, yes, yes. But I still care about their feelings. It's just
Yo, naming names,
right?
Yo,
I was trying to avoid
these streets naming names.
I was trying to avoid that. But anyway,
Fab said, I'd be like, fuck the system.
It's facts, though. Facts. It's facts. All right. So another thing, Mother's Day. I wonder if I can pull this up real quick. Mother's Day. I went over the parental's house, and did the Mother's Day thing. Made my mom's dinner and whatnot. I wonder if I can pull it up real quick.
Probably not.
I mean, probably it's Facebook.
That's the problem. Facebook is.
Yeah, you're right. Facebookity. I am went over there, had a ball. Yep, got it. Went over there, had a ball. About to share? Yeah, share screen. Chrome tab.
This is completely random, but it needs to be said. I'm gonna need y'all to stop.
It is a Bazinga t-shirt.
Oh damn!
Continue.
I'm gonna need y'all to stop indiscriminately sharing screen rants articles. That's all I'm gonna put. Just stop indiscriminately. They're shit. They're shit. Sometimes they're right, but
absolutely. On Chrome on my phone, I have when I open a new tab, it shows me a list of articles that it aggregates for me based on my history and all that other shit. And from time to time, I come across a Screen Rant article, and I'm like, and I read the headline. Honestly, Screen Rant is one of those places who have earned the distinction of me reading their articles and deciding if I'm going to read. I mean, reading their headlines.
Deciding if I'm reading. Yeah, they don't fuck with them. Don't fuck.
But bang, dinner for mom.
Look at this.
Listen, my guy. Listen. I'll be right.
So hold on. So let me see if I'm interpreting this picture correctly. Mm-hmm. So the first one you ordered that from?
No, I ordered nothing.
Pizza Boli's
1,000% from
this
scratch,
other one is a stir fry from a bag. Here's
the thing, and it's not even stir fry. She titled. Funny thing is, I told her what it was. She captioned it wrong. She still captioned it wrong. She was there with me when I made it and still captioned it wrong. I guess technically it's stir fry, but it's not really stir fry. I didn't fry it. It's steamed. But regardless, that's really not, that makes no difference. Are you there? Tim has left the building. Are you good?
It's the internet doing internet shit.
Like I get why she thinks that's stir fry. It's not stir fry. I steamed it.
I thought she posted, this looks pretty good for coming out of a bag.
It's not out of a bag. And here's the thing. That's funny. That's funny. So she like, you need to start selling dinners. Hold your horses. Here's the thing. There are several issues with that.
No, you don't want to start that shit.
One, I don't like people.
Yeah.
You have to be relatively personable.
I know a girl that sells dinners and cooks and stuff, and she is obnoxious, but she makes money off of it. But I'm telling you, that's not some shit you want to start.
That's not something I can do.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you, I would not be successful at it because I don't.
Hey, yo, Og was saying, whoever you paid to make that, bro, they did a crazy job.
Here we go again. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. In addition to me being right.
Oh goodness. What the fuck?
I hate it, but here we are.
See,
we're here.
We're here again.
No, we're here. In addition to me being right,
this nigga.
I I be good at shit. Like it's a curse, really. It really is, because shit like this happens.
I'm blaming Ogma for opening the door for that one. Like, you literally opened the door.
Yeah, he did that.
It's kind of my fault too for shedding light on it, putting that out there. But God,
yo, I be good at shit. Like,
he said it again in the mic.
Listen,
he said it closer in the mic this time than he did last. Last time he was back a couple of centimeters. Then he went forward. I'll be right, and it was louder. I could hear it in my headphones. It was louder.
Listen, but it's all really a I can't even think of the word. I'm mesmerized by the chicken parmesan and the steam fry. the steam fry. I'm keeping that, Biddy, by the way. The steam fry. I'm keeping that. But yeah, I'm mesmerized by chicken parmesan and the steam fry right now. But it all really comes from just my observation.
It's just Chef Boyard Black over here.
Listen, here's the thing. On top of that, I couldn't make.
Oh! Shots fired. Ogma says,
I don't compete. I don't compete.
Oh no, this guy hit us. Ogma said, I did it on purpose in prep for the cook-off because SPJ can't see me in the kitchen. So basically what Ogma's saying is come outside.
Nope.
Come outside.
See, this is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. I don't. Oh, I removed the wrong person. I don't. I don't do such things. I don't do such things. I absolutely, Betty. I got you. You got a founder's fee. I can definitely guarantee you that, because again, I'm not doing it. I'm not selling food because all right, so think about it like this. People like pictures. I'm a fucking photographer. So my stepfather's a photographer. So with the two of us being in that room,
right, and
the food looking how it looked, if you put a picture online, people are gonna whatever. That's how that shit. No, that has nothing to do with me. No, stop. Stop. That has nothing to do with me.
That does not change. Yeah, all right. It can be true and you still can be ass.
All right, fine, whatever. The point is, people have all right. The main times that I cook for real, like cook for real, are for my mother for occasions, and when we do these domestic vacations to some place with my peoples. Those are the main times that I like cook.
That's what you calling them? Domestic vacations?
I mean, Massanutten, Deep Creek, and Myrtle Beach forthcoming.
Man, your ass is up Deep Creek anyway.
Well, okay. But anyway, those are the main times that I cook. Those people on those lists have a what's the word? They have a certain appreciation for what's going on. I'm not doing this shit for somebody that doesn't necessarily know me, doesn't necessarily have an appreciation for the time they might have took or the work that I might have put in. Like, for instance, I feel this way about people who provide a service. If you provide a service, I need you to provide that service. I don't care what you had to go through to do it. I'm paying you for the service.
Right.
If I'm spending my money for the service, I want the service.
Right.
Not to say that I can't be reasonable about unexpected things popping up. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, did I get what I paid for?
Right.
I know
my service and I need it now.
I know that's how I am as a consumer. And I know I'm not the only one. So I don't have the temperament for that. I don't. I really don't. I would lose customers day to day.
Right.
Strictly because, and even if it's something, for instance, one of the last photo shoots I was supposed to do,
Right.
Not one of the last. It was last summer, a photo shoot I was supposed to do. This girl, she's like, oh, matter of fact, I mean, I go there for because I told this story on the show already.
Mm-hmm.
A girl that I'm supposed to be shooting with, supposed to be doing a collaboration with. So that means neither of us are paying the other, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't pay people to take pictures of them. That doesn't make sense to me. That's one of the reasons why I'll never really be in this photography industry. Nah, I don't. It's dumb. There are plenty of people who, not even just that I've worked with, but potential people to work with that will shoot for free or pay me.
Want the content. They want the content.
Right. So no, I'm not paying. So this is one girl. If anybody has seen the evolution of what I had started posting on my Instagram, it was more risque type stuff.
Right.
So she does the risque stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She had this idea of some type of shoot that she wanted to do, and that's what we were collabing on. So we're friends. We're following each other on Instagram. So she put on an Instagram story something about she wanted to do a shower shoot or something like that. Like
she wanted to shoot in the shower.
She's dying to do a shower shoot. I'm like, all right, cool. I said, cool. Let's do it.
That's an interesting wish right there.
Right. I'm like, all right, if you're that gung ho about it, let's do that. She hit me back with, oh, I don't know. I charge for those something this. Something.
Oh, whoa.
No, not I. You don't.
Wait a minute. She said to you.
She said she was dying. No. She didn't ask me. She put it in her stories that she was dying to do a shower shoot. Blah 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 blah.
So she was dying for someone to.
And I respond to it, and she's like, matter of fact, I can read exactly what she said. No, not her, Fab. Let me see. Where is it? I said, let's do it. I responded to the story and said, let's do it. She says, we had other plans too. I said, yeah, we can do both. She said, all right, well, the first idea is a collab. Shower, I may need to charge because otherwise clothes stay on. Now, listen. I'm not going to put, for two reasons, I'm not going to put her pictures in her live on the show. One, because it will be a little time consuming.
Right.
Two, because even though it is her public profile, I'm not going to, I don't do shit like that. But literally everybody on Instagram can see her nipples. This is not a judgment. This is fact. This is a statement of fact. So the statement, I may need to charge because otherwise clothes stay on, does not. Everybody is seeing your nipples. I don't. And I'm not posting. I'm not going to be posting your nipples. If you watch if you look at any of the pictures I don't post intimate parts. They are either hidden or blurred in some way, shape, or I don't do that because that's not my. No, it's not my.
It's your bag.
Thing.
But
it's not my thing.
I'm confused about the fact that she made it a public declaration that she's dying to do something like that. A photographer takes her up on the offer, and then she says, "Whoa, if you want to see me naked."
And that's what I'm saying. You're fucking crazy.
I don't understand.
You're fucking, and that's the point that I'm making. My skills at this point are irrelevant. You did that because you're searching for a bag.
That's what it was.
I'm not the one.
I'm not mad at you for trying to get a bag.
No, what you're mad at
is that the whole presentation of
the way that you went about it, right?
Yeah,
I don't need you.
Yeah,
we had made a plan to shoot, but we haven't done it yet. Let's keep that clear.
Right.
I don't need you. I don't. The money that I do make from photography is largely not from the risque stuff that I do.
Right.
Largely not. The money that I make from photography is like a birthday party or
Mhm.
a baby shower,
Mhm.
or somebody might want to do maternity pics or shit like that. That's the type of stuff that I
or some
generally make money from.
some hotel in Hawaii or something might want you to come in there and shoot.
That would be great.
That would be awesome.
I do that.
Yes, I'll put that out there in the universe.
I do that. I
that
definitely do that. But for her to be like, yeah, I pay. I got to get paid to take the clothes off.
You didn't. You ain't at. Come on. We not. Doing
I asked you. You asked the
world, the universe.
Instagram verse. You asked the Instagram verse for this scenario to happen.
No,
I come to try to oblige.
No, sis.
Specifically because we already are supposed to be shooting.
Right.
And you're like, no, you got to pay for
no,
this.
sis.
No, I don't.
No,
I
sis.
don't.
We not. That's not how. No.
Like literally, like I can't stress this. If you go on her live again, I'm not going to give the information out. If you go on her live right now,
right,
she has on some sheer thing where you can see clearly the entire nipple, like
not half of it.
Literally, everyone can see you naked.
Not 3/4.
Like there is no. Anyway, moving on. The last thing, I've talked about verses on here a lot.
The whole article thing on it.
Yeah, I've talked about how the initial idea I absolutely loved, and then it slowly but surely turned into something I'm not fucking with.
It turned corporate.
But not even the corporate part of it. Fuck the corporate part of it. The holding hands, everybody has to be nice to each other part of it.
That's corporate bullshit.
No, that's before the corporate. This was
before they got officially corporate, they were acting like, I see this shit happen all the time with brands, and they come out as raw, as and then they start cleaning shit up because a bag.
It's
might
not
be
a battle; it's a celebration of music.
Yeah, yo.
Listen, if I wanted to celebrate somebody's music, I would just throw on a.
I don't need you to do that.
Of their music.
I don't need to engage with your content to do that.
Now listen. I'm always reevaluating my stances constantly as I'm giving new information. I take it in. I look at what I had already. I compare it to the new information, and I reassess. So when I heard that, now you're not an R&B dude, but I am. When I heard that SWV and Escape were doing the verses, I was like, that's something that I would potentially be into. So I didn't watch it, but that was only because I'm already programmed to not watch it, to not know when these are coming on and all this shit.
Right.
So on Facebook, a video from the verses popped up. So I watched the video, and when I watched that first video, I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong about this versus thing. Maybe this whole celebration of music thing doesn't necessarily work for me for rap, but for R&B, maybe I was wrong about this shit.
Oh no.
And then I watched more videos.
See, this is just
from that versus. And it did nothing but confirm my
this is the shit I be saying. Right?
It did nothing but confirm my original thought. This shit is bullshit. I don't have any reason or desire. I get the nostalgia. I understand that nostalgia runs the world. I don't care what nobody says. Nostalgia will always be number one because we all have I'll use the word fear of getting old and dying. So nostalgia will always be number one. But I like my nostalgia with a sense of preservation.
I'm so mad.
When I watch something that's supposed to be nostalgia filled, I don't want it to be super obvious that there's some degradation that has occurred. When I'm watching as I'm going through the rest of these videos, because like I said, that first video had me like, oh shit, I'm about to go find the rest of these videos. And then I found the rest of the videos, and I was like, oh, you can't sing no more. You can't sing no more. You can still sing. Coco is fucking amazing. Coco can still blow. But Coco witnessed someone get shot the day before. So for the first half of the verses, she was fucked up. She was not in the right mood.
Well, yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah,
that's not a product. That's not a product of the verses. That's just happenstance. But it affected my viewing of it because she wasn't in the right mood. Second half, she was better, and realistically, pretty much all the videos with her was amazing. That's WV did their thing. But then you got Escape, and I'm looking at Tiny, and I instantly think about the whole T.I. and Tiny thing with the cult thing that they got going on. Yeah. I'm like, this is bullshit. Then it's songs where Tiny's sitting down, being the diva and shit. Like everybody, all the other three members are standing up singing, and you want to be sitting down. Why the fuck are you sitting down? It's a whole thing, and I look how it come around though. I made it 360.
I'm angry. I'm angry once again because previously in this broadcast, I made it a point to say to the world, stop being dumb. Because when you're dumb and he's not, then you verify that you're dumb. He's watching. This gives him another opportunity.
I be right, yo.
It's so ass.
I was trying not to say it, but
it's so ass, yo.
I be right, yo.
It's so ass, man.
That wasn't it. Now, what I will say, the trailer shit, as far as verses is concerned, because they got issues with their other shit.
Right. Ogma says SPJ needs a monocle while reviewing this shit.
Damn, I should have grabbed my glasses. But anyway, but as far as the other shit, I can't talk on because I haven't watched it because I don't care about boxing and all that other shit. But as far as the versus thing, their Triller getting involved, beneficial. It production value skyrocket, all that good shit, bells and whistles, all that. Yep, they got that. They got that 100%. If it from the looks of that one, outside of the variables that you can't control with the performers,
right?
Because Triller and verses have nothing to do with if a singer maintained their vocal cords,
right?
They have nothing to do with that young lady getting shot outside of Coco's hotel. They don't got nothing to do with that. So outside of the stuff that they can't control, I gotta say, it looks like
the issue with corporate takeovers is never the technical quality of the product. It's always the feel.
I think it's been three shows since that happened. I think the Osley Brothers versus Earth, Wind, and Fire, Redman and Meth, and this. From all accounts, I didn't watch Redman and Meth, and I didn't watch.
I watched a portion of Redman.
From all accounts, those were successful too. So, I mean, from the people that like.
Also, yeah. See, this is the other thing about that makes it all very subjective because, some people I was told by another artist years ago that there's an audience for nearly everything that's polished, even if, those who originally liked it stopped liking it because maybe with some of the varnish taken off of it, it lost that feel that they enjoyed. There's still going to be another audience out there that only likes stuff that's like that.
Right.
And then they flock to it with the proper marketing, which a big corporation is going to have the money to afford.
Right.
So it's going to make money. The question is, how long can it continue to do so?
Right.
The bad thing about, especially in entertainment, is that corporations are not loyal to original concepts.
Right.
They pretty much go with the winds of trend. So if the trend changes and their analytics dictate that. It's not a thing where they're passionate enough about to go, we're going to weather the storm and come through, so we can come through on the other end. Nah, once the trend is gone and they can see a considerable depreciation in the value of that product, the support for it will start to wither away. That's how that shit literally works. And that's one of the bad parts about, like, there are good things to giant corporations snatching some stuff, because there's always pros and cons with that shit, you know. But one of the bad things is, you know, you'll see certain artists have had their ups, they've had their valleys, but if they were in a position to continue to keep following their passion, sometimes, a lot of the times, they wind up coming back to another peak. But if they're aligned solely with a company, when they start going through that valley, they're dropping like a hot fucking potato. That shit happened all throughout the music industry. Like, oh, you're not really selling. Look what Def Jam did with LL Cool J. When LL Cool J was at the top, they was on and on and on. And when he dropped Pink Cookies in the Plastic Bag, when he dropped that shit there, and the reason I actually have a bit of secondhand intimate knowledge of this, because my producer was related to the vice president in charge of promotions at that time, Wes Party Johnson. He went up there to hang out with his uncle, right? And he when he comes back home, he has a big old box full of shit that Def Jam was giving away, and everything in this box was a copy of Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag being crushed by buildings. They was about to drop him from his contract for that bullshit. But yeah, that's corporate shit. My last 2 weeks, of course, one part, I'm gonna wait till we get to that part in the story to watch that. This one, though, I thought was a little funny aside. So a couple of weeks ago, SPJ informed me that we are in another locust swarm year. The cicadas are coming. The cicadas are coming. Cicadas are coming. Now, my experience with them, where they actually had an impact, where you could not ignore them if you wanted to, was back in '87. We've had other so-called locust, whatever things. They did not have the impact for me that they had in '87, because I remember walking downtown Baltimore. Crunch, crunch, crunch. They were all over the sidewalks back then.
Hold on real quick. Big Mike, I just sent you a message.
What's up, sis?
Hey, what up, sis?
So, like, in '87, you ride down the street in the car, they're bouncing off the windshields. It was crazy. All up and down the sidewalks, whatever. I have not seen that since, but this is supposed to be the year that we get it. Now, my particular where I live at, my backyard is literally outside of a woods. Right? Outside of a woods. So this is the perfect spot for them to show up and show out. They're gonna be eating leaves. They're gonna be singing all day, all night. I remember what that was like from '87, because I didn't live far from the Lincoln Park Woods on Hilton Parkway, and all day, all night. You know what I'm saying? They were so impactful back then that the news stations were running stories on them and recipes on how to cook them and eat them. This was a thing, right? Yeah. So,
also, real quick aside, if you have a dog, I don't know if cats will do it, but check for cats as well. Do not let them eat a bunch of them, because their shells are hard.
Yeah,
and they will end up potentially lacerating the insides of the pet. So be careful with that.
Funny that you mentioned that. So I saw my first cicada of the season this week. Now, now here's the thing. It was just one. And to be clear, they're out every year, just not in the. But this one looks different. This looked like the ones from '87, right? It was one. It was one. And
wait,
T'Challa,
what was in 2004?
I was out in the world, and they just what they did. I remember when they were saying this was a swarm, and I remember this say '87. What y'all talking about? This is not. I'm not walking down this crunch like I was.
I had that experience.
Look,
now I told my homeboy because we was talking about it, and I was
living in a village in 2004 too.
Is it maybe not as bad as we remember? Because I'm like, was 2004 really not as bad as we remember? Because, or is it because we were still yet technically teenagers? But yeah, is that what it was?
I was graduating from high school in '87, and the cicada thing was a thing. Like it was, and I didn't.
It was the year before I graduated when they came back.
See, so for me, I was grown basically then, and grown in 2004. I'm doing a comparison, my timeline reference. It ain't.
So I'm probably right. See,
this nigga.
God damn it! I hate it. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm saying all that to say this was the impact that I had with it in '87. I have not felt it that way since. I saw one yesterday. It was in my yard. It was brought to my attention by my herald T'Challa, right? He over there, pat, 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 on the ground with it, pat, 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 pat. I'm like, what are you playing with over there? So I get up out of my lawn rocking chair and walk over there and look, and it's this bug. I said, yo, you back from '87. Because that's what it was like that, right? I was like, where your boys? Where your boys?
Whoa, don't ask questions you don't want to answer.
No, I'm listen, Swarm. When I think Swarm, I don't think one of you fuckers. I think, man, where's the rest of these motherfuckers?
Yo,
so
they ain't over yet, my guy.
So look, right? So I said to myself, either this is as disappointing as I imagined it would be, because the stuff from back in the day seems, because of nostalgia, seems whatever. Or this guy is a scout. and he's scouting out delicious areas with delicious leaves. And I got to tell you, when I look over the fence past that little barn that's in the back, those leaves look delicious. Those leaves,
unreal.
What
if they did swarm that area, but there was like a clear cutoff, so like you could see
where
but
listen,
they don't actually encroach.
I don't think it's possible. You know why? Because those leaves on those trees out my back. One of the reasons why I like to sit out the whole ambiance. They look as good comparatively as that meal you cook for your mama on Mother's Day. He's coming back.
Oh God.
He's coming back with his friends and all of that. So my herald was like, maybe they don't get to see this because you don't get to go back.
Oh, he froze. We're gonna get him. Actually, there's nothing we can do. We have to write a letter to somebody to work on his internet line, because this is absolutely embarrassing, my guy. You're in the middle of a story and you just freeze up with the motion hand that is clearly not your hand looks deformed, my guy, because of motion, but the rest of you is perfectly frozen. That's probably the quality of the camera. I gotta say, it looks pretty good. Oh, he completely dropped. Oh man, maybe he might be rebooting his Pat freeze. Yep. The Pat hand. Yo, that's impressive. Actually, that was perfect timing. I'm gonna talk about this real quick because I'm fairly certain he hasn't listened to this album. J. Cole, Jermaine Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the conclusion that I'm getting old. I've finally come to that conclusion, and I am embracing it, and I understand. I realize it's the case. J. Cole pre-KOD was one of my favorite rappers. Post-KOD, he's still... You generally don't lose your rapping skill until your mind starts to go, because it's a cerebral sport. It's not a physical sport. So these things don't necessarily decay as quickly, and especially when you have as much practice as most of these people have, it starts to be second nature. So he's absolutely not lost his rapping skill. If I'd honestly say that his rapping skill has increased. But here's the thing. I listened to the album once. Not saying it's a bad album. Came out Friday. Not saying it's a bad album at all. At all. In any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that. I'm not giving it a rating at all until I, get some more time with it. I will say I'm not dying to get some more time with it, though. It was cool. The issue I have is I don't remember if this was in one of the songs or if this was an interview or part of the documentary, because I didn't watch the documentary. He's back from his phone. All right, so I'm gonna finish this real quick. I don't know if it was in the interview or one of the songs or in the documentary, but he had said that this is a pivotal time in a rapper's career, the point that he's at, and he's right. And for him, I think he's beginning to run out of shit to talk about, because several times on this album, he goes back to, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, bitch nigga, I'm rich. I got all these M's, I got 100 mil, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't want to hear this from you. Jermaine, I don't want to hear this from you.
Facts.
I don't.
Wait a minute, who's doing that?
J. Cole. I don't want to hear this from you. I don't want to hear this from the nigga that.
Hell no.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this from the nigga that did. What's that? What's the name of that song on the Rhapsody album? Sojourner. I don't want to hear this from you,
right,
my guy. I don't.
Right,
it sounds like you're running out of shit to rap about. And like I said, I'm not calling the album a bad album in any way, shape, or form. I only listen to it once, not rating it until I have more time with it. But I'm not dying to have more time with it. So slightly disappointing. But
who told him he should do that? Did somebody suggest that to him?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
That's a bad idea, man.
I don't care about you telling everybody how rich you are.
I don't think anybody does.
And then like galvanize.
His fans don't want that. His fans.
No, I mean, well, let me tell you. Let me be honest with you. His fans want. Why? How the fuck did you freeze again? What the hell? Let me go through this article while he's while he's getting his shit together, because I don't know. I haven't read this article yet. This article is titled 9 Predictions and General Thoughts About J. Cole's Newly Announced Album. This was when he announced it on the 5th. Oh, okay. That's why. You good?
I hope. I got it. Something got to give with this. Damn.
Absolutely, it does.
Got to give.
So I'm gonna go through these nine predictions that they gave for the album, because this article came out obviously before the album came out.
Right.
And I listen to the album. If I can respond to it, I will. If I can't, I won't. Again, I haven't given the thorough overlook. I've just listened to it the one time through. Right. All right. Number 1, I have no idea if this new album will have features. It does. He said he predict and hope that it doesn't, because if it doesn't, it will go platinum. Well, guess what? He has features on this album. Number 2, that is one fire ass album cover. Again, no pun intended. I get it, because there's fire on it. Okay. While I'm up and down on J. Cole artistically, he knows how to present his projects, and this album cover is in line with that. For instance, his cover for 2014 Forest Hills Drive, I would be willing to argue, is a classic album cover. For Your Eyes Only was dope, and KOD was very Kanye-esque in its artisticness. In fact, if I'm Damian Lillard, aka Dame Dollar, I'm mad at this album cover for being so dope and literally being what a Dame Dollar album cover could be. He didn't say anything. That's one. All right, cool. Number 3, this tweet from Brandon is literally how I view J. Cole fans. I don't think there are casual. That's what I was about to say to you before you cut out again. Hold up, real quick. See, here's the thing. Bragging raps are an institution in hip hop. I'm never listening to 2 Chainz, but Jeezy, even Jay-Z, Nas, they have consistently been rapping about the money that they have.
Yeah. And
throughout their careers.
Also street shit. So it's not
even
just
2 Chainz.
Yeah.
Even 2 Chainz. He rapped about how much money he got. That's a consistent thing with him. J. Cole doing this is new.
Yeah.
I don't need you to add this to your repertoire at this stage in the game. Anyway,
we go to him
and for what you said, no. You might go to him for certain things. J. Cole fans don't give a fuck.
Okay, see, sweetie.
J. Cole
that's
fans
probably
don't
true.
Give a fuck.
That's probably true, but I would also say that they are fans like that. It's really hard to say, to be critical of them, because every artist would kind of want fans.
Oh no, I'm not being critical.
Follow them.
I'm not being critical at all.
Yeah.
It has been so long since he dropped an album.
Right.
Unless it's bad, they're going to eat it up.
Right.
That's just what the J. Cole fan is like, and that's his number 3. I don't think there are casual Cole fans, just over the top, all in fans, and that's my take on it too. His number 4 is, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. I expect this album to be a ho hum as fucked, with a few records that the general population would think is dope, with a few outstanding bars on it. From my initial listen, again, haven't spent a bunch of time with it.
Right.
I gotta agree. What to say? Why is Cole so much better on non-album records than album records, is what people would, like himself, would say, while the Cole stands literally try to find a ranking higher than 1, because in their mind that's where Cole lives. His number 5, I also expect some sort of documentary. That happened. That happened. Right. Number 6, I think One Guarantee is a song where he addresses last summer's dust up with No Name. I don't remember him doing that. What up, Sandy?
What's up, Sandy?
I don't remember him doing that. If he did, it wasn't a whole song. I did expect that too, but from my memory, it didn't.
I'm kind of glad he didn't do that. So
his number 7. I've been trying to determine if I think that a J. Cole release is an event, and I'm pretty sure I've landed on the side of yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Number 8. In fact, I'm fairly certain that I will wait up until midnight on the day of release just to listen to it. I did not. I made a conscious decision Thursday that I was going to listen to it Friday, but I did not stay up to listen to it.
Yeah, it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
And his number 9, what I'm about to say is going to sound a little bit get off my lawn, but I'm glad Cole is releasing a new album. Even if I don't expect to enjoy it, an album by an artist that makes event albums that underwhelms like usual, that send me down the think piece rabbit hole is a welcome respite during a time when the vast majority of hip-hop of any stripe is so boring to me. There is a time when hip-hop makes me want to write shit, and that is just not where I am right now. I didn't even give a shit about the Jay and Nas record on Khaled's album.
Sound like me.
Sorry, not sorry. That song is not good, and I cannot be convinced otherwise. So lights, please. But thank you, J. Cole, for dropping the album.
All right. I kind of, with the exception of a couple of things in that 9.
Yeah, I generally agree.
That's kind of where I'm at with the whole.
I generally agree with that. However, and we ain't put this on the list, but X's album drops on the 28th.
Got to get that. That's
that.
Yeah.
That album I'm going to listen to. Yeah. That album I might wait up for.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you.
But that to me just shows the strength in number 9's point.
Yes, absolutely.
That's an extraordinary circumstance took place.
The reason that it made me think about that is because there's a rumored X, J, and Nas song on the album.
Yep.
Bruh.
Yep.
Nigga. But anyway.
Yeah. It is what it is with that. I feel like even if X hadn't died, I'd have felt the same way.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's been so long. It's literally the same thing with the Cole thing, except for X, it's been longer. And there was a redemption story here.
Right.
The redemption story has now turned into a memorial, but it's still an event album.
The difference I think between me and J. Cole fans with X is that I will recognize the event status of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Without giving it its undue.
Yes.
Like if I listen to it and it's not something
listen,
I'm gonna say it. Like I ain't really feeling
now. Now, to be real, the recent shit I've been hearing from X, like, all right,
same.
That shit with the locks.
Yeah.
I was like,
crazy.
Okay, X,
crazy,
okay,
crazy, crazy.
Okay, this what you're doing. This what you're doing. All right, I got you. This how you rap. From now on,
this guy's
my bad. Let me see. Are you finished with your cicada story?
Yeah, basically. That he papped them out. I don't know when his boys will come. I don't know if they send off some sort of pheromone when they've been attacked and when we'll be invaded at some point. But I do know he was fairly interested. He seemed fairly interested in my backyard and the surrounding trees.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. You're probably right. He was the scout.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly this summer.
You know that particular brand of cicada. Their time works differently. So
yeah.
So it might be a week or two before the hootie hoo reaches full effect.
Listen. Listen, inside my closet over there, I have several bats, a sword, a machete.
All right, let's be real. You're a little long in the tooth, my guy. The sword ain't gonna help.
The sword will help fine. This sword.
You ain't what you used to be.
I have two swords. One of them is the Odin sword.
Okay.
And that's a broadsword.
I know.
What is this? Oh, yeah, that's a broadsword. So it has a wide surface. So that's going to increase my
but the surface area is going to decrease your power, just like that book did when you tried to hit that B.
Listen, look, first of all,
what?
That B went down.
Yeah,
he
but
didn't
he got
stay
up.
down.
Yeah, he got up.
He fell down, but he got up. But look, he still was made to pay. And he never came back. And neither did he bring his friends. Secondly, I got my powers.
Yeah, I get that. But now I feel like you're mixing kayfabe with
No, I'm doing what I did at Universal that last time with my kids. I'm literally mixing, like, fandom universes.
Yeah, again,
until all the shit collapses.
I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure it works that way.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Realistically,
Jonathan is right. He says, they come out of the ground when they reach a certain temperature.
Yeah.
Right. So
and the forecast is looking real cicada-y.
Looking kind of cicada.
I look
kind of cicada in the forecast.
I looked like yesterday or some shit.
It's 72. Hold up.
Yo.
It's 73 now.
77, 73, 73, 77.
Oh,
82,
yeah.
88,
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like it's looking kind of cicada-y. So
I'm here for it.
All right. So let's get to this first thing. The CDC update. For those who are unaware, the CDC released a new what are they called? Mandates, protocols?
I would prefer protocols because they don't like they put a law or anything in place.
Right.
So it's protocol.
Basically, I'm not doing this work for y'all. Y'all can do it. You're intelligent. You're intelligent adults. I'm just gonna give an overview.
Yeah, on our show.
Yeah. Here. You guys are family. You guys know how to look stuff up to get the specifics.
Yeah.
So basically, their new protocol is that if you're full vax, you good. You don't got to mask up in most scenarios. Public transportation, hospitals, jails, planes.
I don't plan on going to jail no time soon.
Well, no, me neither. But these scenarios, you should still mask up. But outside of those scenarios, you're generally going to be fine.
And by the way, here in Maryland, today is the day.
So with that, with the caveat of this protocol does not override any mandates in place by any. What up, Addy? Any federal, local, municipal, tribal, territorial mandates that are in place.
Right.
Business mandates that are in place have nothing to do with the protocol. The protocol doesn't override those.
Right.
Governor Hogan has lifted the mask mandate starting today. However, that's a governor, so that's state.
Yep.
Each individual county can still make their own mandates. Baltimore City is not stopping their mask mandate yet. So I was watching Come on Stage's podcast as I want to do. I haven't brought him up on the pod in a while, but y'all know I'm a fan of Kevin on Stage, big fan of Kevin on Stage. I take some of the stuff that he does with his podcast and implement them here. So and sometimes I get topics from him, because his podcast happens earlier in the week. So I get the topic, I research it, throw it in here. I absolutely love his co-host. I love her. She's very intelligent in general. She is very hilarious, very charismatic. She's amazing. She does the damn thing. She does the damn thing. But she is scientifically illiterate.
So she's American.
It is fucking annoying. Because they talked about this on their latest episode, and she like, you can't trust the CDC because they be contradicting themselves. So I know I just gave y'all a massive compliment by calling y'all all adults, but I'm just gonna do this anyway. Let me explain to you how this works.
Well, you're not just explaining it to them, explain to any potentials that might not be.
Yes, very true. Let me explain to you how this works. And I'm not even going to use the proper terminology because, again, this is in hopes that the layperson that isn't necessarily interested in this stuff would understand a little bit better, right? So this is how science works. A thing happens, has happened, or there's a question. There are people that look at that occurrence or question and they try to figure out how it works. Why is this the case? What causes this? What are going to be the ramifications from this thing? They use their tools, they do some research, they do some experimenting, and they come to a conclusion. When they come to that conclusion,
and they share their results.
That conclusion is then shared with other people who have done their research and their experiments, and they use this, and it's big gumbo.
Yeah, they basically peer review the shit and see if they get the same result that they said using the same method.
Right. So they come to a consensus. Then, no. I want to be clear on this one, like I said, we're talking to people that don't necessarily understand. Science doesn't change.
The science is a method. The method stays the same.
Right. The results change. What they find changes.
Right.
So then,
and that's also, just got to add this, that's also determined on the advancement of their tools of observations.
Right.
Certain tools of observations that we did not have back in the day yielded certain results. As those tools got more advanced, we got better results.
Right. You know? So that thing that happened, that original inciting event, is still ongoing. It displays a characteristic that it did not display before. Now, that entire process starts over.
All over again. Yep.
Completely over. Because the initial event displays a different characteristic, it is damn likely that the result will not be exactly the same as the first result that they got.
Right.
That is where you lay people and you intentionally ignorant people.
That's what y'all get hung up on.
That's where y'all get they're contradicting themselves
all the time.
There was new information that they acquired and they ran it through its proper paces. And they got a new result.
And you know the reason why they get hung up there many times? They get hung up there because the human ape is very simple. He's not as complex as he likes to pretend himself to be. He thinks that once someone says something or an authority says something, it's supposed to be set in stone. What I would say to them is the universe does not care about our understanding.
Facts. The reality is not contingent on your understanding of it.
Right. Also, Cindy, larger data pools give a better understanding.
So when there were 1 million cases of COVID-19 worldwide, any research they did then would highly likely be changed once there are 1 billion cases.
As in larger
pool. So let me just say this again to clarify for you people that don't understand how this method works.
You mean
something happens? Something happens. They go try to find out why, what caused it, what is it going to cause?
Right.
That thing that happens, several things can happen. Either there can be more occurrences of that thing happening, it could show some type of characteristic that it didn't show before.
Right.
Like you said, there could be an update in the tools that they have used to observe this thing.
Yes.
Many things could happen. Once any of those things happen, any one of those things happen, the process starts over. And it's highly likely that you're going to get a different conclusion. That's why science is so wrong. They can't make up their mind. SpongeBob voice.
Listen,
yo.
I feel like the point that where you're at right now with this is very familiar with me because this is where I was at a certain point about 10, 12 years ago. And
I was naive back then.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't realize
to the point where I was writing songs to tell them, yo, are you stupid or are you dumb?
Both. Listen, I was naive back then. I took for granted that people just knew or cared.
No. And here's the other thing about that. I gotta kind of jump in their ass about this because y'all gave y'all 5th grade science teacher the blues. Y'all didn't pay attention in class. Y'all were throwing spitballs. Y'all was having conversations. The class clown motherfucker who was actually passing had y'all so distracted y'all was failing.
That was
the
me.
guy. That was also me. The guy that was doing exceptionally well in the class, y'all made fun of and made his life a living hell, called him Poindexter or whatever thing y'all like to do. Only for now, as an adult, for you to see that you missed all of that basic shit that was going to be necessary for you to understand shit like this when it happens when you're an adult. This is the moment where all that shit you ignored, poo-poo, thought wasn't cool because you was already doing well in them other classes, so you was going to be able to fail that and keep moving. All of that shit you did back then, this is where it bites you in the ass now. And I got to get on you about it. SBJ has to get on you about it because there's a thing called accountability. And the one thing this show is big on is holding people accountable for situations that other people might gloss over and go, just let them. We petty as fuck on this show.
Uber pete.
Don't think that back when SBJ was in school and I was in school, we wasn't watching y'all with the bullshit. We observed people. That didn't just start.
Yeah, no, that's not a new thing, my guy.
We saw you being dumb as fuck in class. Listen, if you're listening to this now, if this is your first time listening to this show, yes, I'm talking about you too. We saw you, not as a group, not as the royal we, you. No, you specifically, nigga. You. We saw you in class playing games and not listening when the teacher was breaking down the scientific method. We saw you look over at Mary Alice Rottencrotch's paper thinking you was going to pass that test.
Dumb. You were so dumb.
Saw you.
You're dumb.
And now you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay rhetorically right now on the show. You're also going to pay potentially. You're also going to pay with your lives. You're going to pay with your lives because you're going to fuck around. That stupid shit, you're going to fuck around and find out. There's been too many people that already has.
Yes. You know the funniest thing about this? That there's a potential silver lining.
Vinny said, looks away. Wasn't me, rolls eyes.
You know the funniest thing about this shit there's a potential silver lining.
Interesting.
So, you anti-vaxxers. There are a bunch of anti-vaxxers.
Yes.
That because of this new protocol have decided.
You're right. This is exactly what I was about to tell you.
I thought so. That they're going to start wearing masks so that the particles from the vaccine.
Yes, that's the new conspiracy theory. The new conspiracy theory is that those of us that have been vaccinated are shedding RNA and DNA and they're breathing it in. You know what? I have always assumed it would be just that simple, where you just have to float out there the reverse, like Alvin said, the reverse psychology. You have to float out there the reverse narrative to get them to do the right thing.
I argue that this is for lack of a better term, the yin and the yang. Balanced as all things should be. This is our saving grace. This is how we fuck up into survival.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens. That is the answer. I asked this question to you earlier before we started. I have my answer now. I just thought about it. That's how the fuck they're still around. We fuck up into survival. Notice I didn't say look up. No, we fuck up into survival. Because literally, ironically, I have a better outlook on this country,
right,
as it pertains to the pandemic, because of the fuckery of these idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you have this scenario where the anti-vaxxers are wearing masks and the non-anti-vaxxers have been vaccinated, that's good. That's a good thing. Right. That helps everyone.
Right.
You motherfuckers, you reached around your back to scratch your elbow.
No.
What is going?
That's not even the only thing with these people. And you gotta, I think understanding the animal is the key to getting the animal to do what you want it to do. These people are ass backwards, meaning they're the type that'll take a shit, wash their hands, and then wipe their ass. That's them. That's what they are. That's what they are. It's what they are.
I don't want to be here, man.
Yo, I don't want to be here. Exactly. All that. Yo, Cindy said they were also the ones whose parents were doing their science fair projects for them, so they didn't learn the method. Yes, this is what they did. Augment's dumb. My cell signal has gotten so much better since I got vaccinated. I think Microsoft will have a great fiscal quarter.
Chemtrails.
Listen, I'm with everything you just said there about just not wanting. I don't want to live with y'all anymore. I don't.
Damn, I don't got no tinfoil in here.
Yeah, you could have made a nice hat. Listen, look, that shit. It is so absurd, and it's to the point where any absurdity that you can imagine can become a reality. That's what
these motherfuckers have tricked themselves into living. Into what the fuck?
I'm halfway mad about that though,
and I'm half mad and I'm half amazed. I'm astonished.
Half mad, half amazing.
I'm astonished. This can't. It is.
This can't be life, but it
is. It is.
Can you imagine? You know what's the craziest shit when you sit back and think about all of this? So if you got on the Voyager spaceship, and right now I think it's not even past the Oort cloud at this point, but looking back, Earth looks like a small dot. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was no other intelligent life out there and all the lunacy that exists in the universe exists on one planet, yo? One planet.
No, but that tracks for me. I don't. Not that they're not being intelligent life.
Right.
Even if there is intelligent life in many places throughout the universe,
they don't come here for.
I would argue. I would argue that we take the lion's share, because I'm sure it's almost impossible for it to not exist other places. Yeah. But I'd be willing to bet that we have the lion's share.
It's time to change the name of this planet to Arkham. This is Arkham Asylum.
Yo, this real shit. Yo. Nuts. Oh, Ahmed said the core genetics took over for survival and realized they were too dumb to handle the truth. So they tricked themselves into doing the right thing for the wrong reason. That's what
But this is what bothers me about that, because it's an inconsistent measure, and it's the main reason why
you've said this recently on the show.
Yeah, like if you fuck up and do the right thing for the wrong reasons, that's not a consistent enough process for that to happen right all the time. So it does matter how you got to your conclusion, because you can't use that. I have friends that I love dearly, but their method of understanding the things that happen in this world comes through the filter of conspiracy theories. And the problem with using that metric every time is that it's inconsistent, and more times than not, you're going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's flawed. It's fundamentally flawed.
It's fundamentally flawed.
You're starting off wrong.
So the bad part too is once they wind up right about something, even if they're wrong 100 times, that one time they're right confirms in their mind the process they're using.
You know what I really wonder?
What's that?
How smart is the motherfucker that actually put this one out here? Like, because I can't, nothing in me can allow myself to believe that the motherfucker that put it out believes
didn't know what they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah. They have to, you gotta think about it. If this is fuck it, I'm on some conspiracy shit. My conspiracy is that this motherfucker or group, whatever the case may be, saw how things were progressing, saw that the cases were going down dramatically, saw that this is happening, saw that is happening. And then the protocol comes out and it's like, fuck, if this happens, there are going to be a bunch of people that are just going to lie and say that they're vaccinated so they cannot wear their mask. And then that's going to push us back.
Right.
If I tell these motherfuckers that the people who have received the vaccine are shedding, and they need to protect themselves from breathing it in, we may have a way through this thing.
The thing that's so crazy about that is the fact that this is what happens when you didn't pay attention to your class, where someone can just make some shit up that because you're so unschooled and so scientifically illiterate, that makes sense somehow to your man. You have no defense against these terms they're using. And since it kind of fits within something you're paranoid about anyway, they get to take advantage of your paranoia with that. And I gotta say, man, if that's the case, it wasn't one person. It was a group of people. Because this is a narrative that needs to spread, right? So it was a group.
It was likely a group. It was likely, on some Illuminati shit. Not
real Illuminati.
Not that I'm talking about.
There's
comics.
no such thing. We're talking about the we're talking about Reed Richards.
Yes.
We're talking about T'Challa, Black Bolt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm so sorry. I apologize. I should have prefaced that.
You gotta be careful.
I don't talk about conspiracy theories.
I know.
I forgot that I just talked about a conspiracy theory. And then I say the word Illuminati. No, not them. Not them. I'm talking about comics.
We're talking comic book stuff. Like, chill off of that.
9 times out of 10, if you are listening, you're just the average person, and you don't understand the reference, or you think I'm being fucking crazy, please assume that it's comic book.
We use a lot of comic book references on this show.
Comic book battle rap.
Comic book geeks battle rap. Yeah. If you hear me say musty, weak, soft, dusty, that's a battle rap reference. It's not chill.
Yeah, chill out. All right. Dang, I was hoping that Sal would be here by now, but
I think he had to work today.
That explains it. Well, all right. Let's talk about this Snyder Cut, my guy.
Let's do it.
All right.
We finally got to watch the Snyder Cut.
All right. So these are my notes. Now, mind you, this is not so anybody listening out there, it's not an official review. This is just a bunch of notes that I took as I was watching this saga. Also, I only watched the theatrical version once.
That's all you needed.
And I mean, I say it to say I'm not a 100% on everything that is new in this version versus whether it was like I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain, but I'm not 100%. So those 2 disclaimers. Yeah, that's it. All right. My number one note.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not the first thing I wrote down. I put it at the top later. But if you can't tell a story in less than 4 hours, it shouldn't be one movie. So immediately, as I turned this on, I hated the opening WB logo for having no color in it. Because this is one of those things that
it's comic.
I hate about Zack Snyder.
It's comic books. Where's the color?
There are certain scenarios. 300, it was fine because that's a gritty story.
Yes,
on its own. Like,
and in the
you don't
comic
have
books,
to grit that up.
It wasn't super colorful, like superhero colorful, and even in the comic book version of it. So
you don't have to grit the death of 300 soldiers marching through. Yeah, you don't have to grit that up. It's there already.
Right.
It's already there. All right. Next. We don't need exposition about the recruiting process. I'm not talking about logic or quality. But from my recollection, the way the recruiting process went in the theatrical version was sufficient.
That was good enough.
It was sufficient. You don't need exposition on the recruiting process. No. Steppenwolf casually tossing horses is ridiculous in the best way.
Yes, it is.
Casually just he tossing horse.
To me, one of the best things about it was it kind of made him a threat because I was not threatened by him at all.
This thing's just casually tossing horses.
Fuck out of here, horse.
Yes.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here. Let me see. Why is it in its dumbass screen ratio? I saw an article about it before I watched it, and I didn't read it because I wanted to watch it first, but then I lost the article. There's a reason, I just don't know why.
I remember reading about the reason and wasn't convinced that was a good reason to do it.
Okay. Let me see. I don't know exactly what this refers to because this was day one of me watching. By the way, it took me 3 days to watch this whole thing. It just says Dark Side Battle was pretty cool. I don't remember which part.
No, I know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about when they did the flashback. Wonder Woman narrated the flashback.
Yes,
they had that war. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Ooh, I was like, okay,
that's more like it.
All right.
Also,
I can do this.
To let the record show, the Greek gods,
nigga,
they fucked Darkseid up. Let the record know the Greek gods fucked Darkseid up. Some respect on the Olympians.
For real. Next, having title cards for the parts makes it feel A, disjointed, and B, longer.
Yep, that's a fact. Absolutely.
I don't need to know. Like, no, fuck, no.
Yeah.
All right. Flash saving Iris. That scene was too much for me.
Oh, you didn't like the scene?
Not that I didn't necessarily like the scene. Here are my issues with, and this first one is a little facetious. No truck driver is taking his eyes off the road like that for that long. That's not how that would work. If you got your CDL,
right,
there's a high possibility that what happened in that scene, you dropped a hamburger and he's literally down here looking for. That's not gonna fucking happen. Anyway, Flash disintegrates his shoes.
Yeah.
So am I to believe the rest of his clothes are made out of some special material? And here's the question.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So because why would the Speed Force protect everything but his shoes? Because it protected his feet. But
right.
Then you got the scene where Bruce shows up and it's explained that the Flash suit is specially made.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is he using the Speed Force or is he not using the Speed Force? And
Well,
if he is using the Speed Force, why didn't it protect his shoes?
The reason why that shit is to me kind of crazy, but I'll allow it, is because that is the exact same flaw I've seen them use in the comic books. So at least it's a source material flaw.
Okay.
It's a source material flaw, you know.
I'll give them that. Okay. Listen. I saw an article about people trying to cancel Flash because of this.
Yo, now we talked about this on the Metas and Mutant show too.
I feel like that's stupid, but let me still say him staring at her while she's hurtling to her death seems wholly unnecessary, particularly in a movie with this padded of a runtime.
Right.
I don't feel like it was creepy. I don't feel like that.
I don't think it was creepy at all.
But it was wholly unnecessary. She's literally hurtling to her death, as evidenced by the fact that when time resumed, the car fucking exploded.
Right.
So,
but in Flash's defense, all of that happened in an attosecond.
Yes, no, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but
he's existing in a frame of reference where he has all the time in his world.
No, this isn't the critique of in-universe.
No, you're talking about
Snyder.
Yeah, Snyder, yeah.
Why are you taking the time out to show
he could have done that after he saved her.
Yo,
he literally could have did that then.
There's nothing about him staring at her that further shows me how fast he's moving. Or everything else that was going on.
Or adds to the attraction. She was literally looking at him as she drove by. He was looking at her through the window. And then, again, it's about placement.
She literally stopped in her tracks when they bumped into each other.
Yeah.
And stared at him through the window.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, shit, I got to go. Literally stared at him. So, like, we didn't need that extra.
We don't need that. What he could have done, instead of doing it there, is after he saved her.
Sure.
You know, because what the fuck? Yeah, that look makes more sense than the woman you just stared at for the last 10 minutes. You're staring at again up close like you didn't see her before. Like,
you literally just did this. Literally. All right.
It's superfluous. Bit superfluous.
Why didn't the lasso work on Superman?
Oh, to get him to tell the truth?
I'm confused about that.
Me too, because it has worked in the comic books.
Right. And
it's magic. He has no special no special resistance to magic.
Okay. All right. Here's the other thing that kind of goes along with the Flash thing, and it comes up again. We know everybody has super speed. Pretty much the only person that doesn't have super speed is Batman.
Yeah. With slow ass.
We don't need it to be displayed for everybody.
Right.
My guy. We know everybody else is fast. Like we know that. It should solely be Flash's thing, because
I would give it also to Wonder Woman because of the speed of Hermes. That's part
I get that. I get that, but I don't want to say it because I had to say it at the end. So here's the other thing. Superman was too slow to hit Barry.
Yes, just a fraction.
But fast enough to evade him, leaving him no time to realize that he missed and was about to hit Aquaman.
Yeah, he was about to hit Aquaman. That's funny.
How? Literally, Flash was fast enough to evade Superman's swing with the element of surprise of not realizing he was that fast.
Right.
If you look at the scene, Flash comes in, he's running,
and he notices that Superman's
and Flash is flabbergasted. He is more awestruck than when he saw Iris.
Yeah.
And Superman swings, and Flash is still able to avoid the hit. But Flash comes to attack Superman later. Superman is able to evade fast enough to where Flash can't realize he's about to run into Aquaman. What the fuck? That's not. It's not consistent. Batman's rebuttal to Flash's great point about Steppenwolf being more powerful and more experienced is he's never fought us united.
Yeah, let me say something. When I saw
you literally had one mission with the group of people that you're in the room with, and you failed rather spectacularly.
Dude, when he said that in the trailer, I giggled. I literally giggled. It was like, what make you
Yo, you literally had one mission with those people 10 minutes ago.
And
it failed.
And Soups wasn't with you. So you can't say we have the added element of the Kryptonian. No.
You ain't know.
You missed something in the beginning. You missed something in the beginning that I thought you would pick out on. The death of Superman, when they showed that whole screaming thing. How was that when was that ever a superpower where he could that shit bothered me. I was like, yo, if Superman he has the powers of a god.
Right.
But if he was an actual god, I would have let that go.
He's a layperson that happens to be on a planet.
The solar battery
gives him fucking powers above everybody else that lives here. But he was just an average person. He was a kid.
The only reason he may potentially be immortal or near immortal is because of the solar battery shit. Not because he's made up. I'm going to give you an example what I'm talking about. In one of the earlier Avenger books, not early back when they first started, but when they was doing a whole, they were starting to run over again.
Yeah,
they were on Mars, and when they were on Mars, there was these two beings on there that worked for these other higher aliens that actually had a lot to do with the creation of all the planets in the universe. They grabbed the Avengers up and had them restrained. One of them went over to Thor and said, looking at his makeup and said, this is a god. Just by looking at intrinsically what he was. So a lot of things that Thor gets away with, they can use the caveat. He's a god. God stuff. Soups don't have that.
Superman is just a god among men.
Right. And he's technically stronger than some actual gods.
Yes,
but that does not change the fact that he himself is not in Marvel and in DC. Gods are a species.
Yes.
So he's not of that. Right. So no, I'm not. No. I thought that was weird in the beginning. I thought that was weird.
Another inconsistency. Maybe you can explain it to me. Either Superman broke Steppenwolf's will. That's one choice. Second choice is Arthur and Diana were holding back to let Superman arrive. Or 3, it's a plot hole.
Which part?
The fact that I understand you want Superman to be Superman.
Right.
But the entire point of this public re-imaging of Aquaman is, well, not the entire point, but one of them is to show that he rivals Superman's strength.
To a degree.
And Diana should rival Superman's strength.
To a degree.
So when you go from them not being able to fucking touch Steppenwolf to when Superman arrives, them literally knocking him around
like he ain't shit.
How the fuck does that happen?
Well, here's the thing, right? So what they tried to establish with Steppenwolf early was when he beat the shit out of Aquaman in the water. Why that's a big thing? Well, in the water, he has done damage to Superman. Yeah, he's done damage to Superman in the water in the comic book. So this is their established. It's kind of like what they used to do with the old Justice League cartoon, where, especially in the first season, if you see Superman get the shit knocked out of him and fly across the screen, this is their way of saying this is a supreme threat, y'all.
Right.
Because if he can knock Superman, this is the same thing they tried to do with Steppenwolf from the beginning. They had him go down there in the water, put hands and feet, elbows, and headbutts all over Aquaman in the water. In the water. So y'all know, listen, he is Aquaman's saying, but he's in a tier higher than him. Then, of course, him fighting Wonder Woman with the sword game and they doing all that with the axe and sword. This is also to show that he rivals, he's this, that, and the third. So it does not, it doesn't. The level of what they did to him in that final scene is a bit much in comparison to how far the gap was supposed to be in strength that they just demonstrated, because they had already established.
Right. They'd already established. I would have accepted Aquaman and Wonder Woman holding him, both of them holding him
together. Yes.
While Superman lined up a knockout. I would have accepted that. But literally, they're playing tennis with Steppenwolf.
Like, he ain't. This the same guy that was just throwing horses
casually,
like Legos and shit.
Fuck another horse. Fuck out of here. Like, this is the same guy that was literally just knocking them around.
Yeah, and they could
literally
not.
A minute before that part in the movie, he was knocking them around. Yeah. And now, because Superman's there, because his presence, his aura, the six are united.
They get a power boost. Listen, when you play video games.
Yes, when you play video games, that happens. Fuck that shit. I want to see that shit. And to your point earlier, I forgot what your point was, but to your point,
right?
Because this is my last thing. Yeah. This movie just reaffirms that this is not something that should have ever been attempted. Here's the thing. The stuff with Cyborg, amazing.
Yeah, they did a real good job with that.
It should have been its own movie.
Yeah.
The additional stuff with Flash, amazing. Should have been its own movie.
Yes.
All that the Snyder Cut did for me, because I learned from the Snyder Cut of Batman vs. Superman. I learned that I am not to expect his cut to necessarily change my opinion.
Right.
On the overall.
Same.
I learned you're going to get some answers to some plot holes.
Right.
And you're going to get a better understanding of what he was going for.
But that does not change the fact that the overall quality of it was what it was.
It's not something that should have ever been attempted the way that they attempted.
Yeah, and see, I'm glad you said that, because here's where I do my small amount of fanboying and partisan bullshit. But I got to do it. I got to do it because they played with Marvel. When 2008, when they did Iron Man, and then the rumors floated around about doing a connected universe, I saw DC people that affiliated with DC Comics on Twitter. I saw them posting the craziest dismissal ever of this shit. Then last year, I saw people tweeting hashtag MCU is over.
Oh, God.
I saw it. So now, again, this show is petty and it's about accountability. So allow me to be petty. You see what happens when you try to rush some shit simple and try to be different just for the sake of being different instead of being different for a purpose. The fact is, there was no need for y'all to reinvent the wheel with the presentation of these characters because Marvel showed you the way. And we were here for you doing it right. We was not going to say, come on, hurry up and give us Justice League. No. Said no fan ever. Said no fan ever. What we wanted was
we wanted you to build that anticipation.
Because we want the feeling we got with Endgame. No, I'm taking Endgame out of it. The feeling we got with the first Avengers movie is what we wanted to feel about Justice League.
Yo, literally, the second movie was a team up.
You cheated us, man.
The MCU's second movie was Iron Man, right? Or was it Hulk?
The second movie, no. The first movie, Hulk, I think came either the same year or right before.
I can't remember. I can never remember which one came out first.
Yeah, right. But yes, they didn't do any team up shits until
had a movie.
Everybody got their movie.
Except for Black Widow and Hawkeye.
That's it. And Black Widow's intro, they doubled up on her in Iron Man 2.
Right.
But this is what
That's
happens.
when you introduce a new character, when you're doing Batman versus Superman introduced 2 new characters.
Yes.
Justice
Sloppily,
League
by the way.
introduced 2 new characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though we had seen Flash before that,
right,
he wasn't really introduced properly until Justice League.
Right.
That should never have been the case. 4 hours?
4 hours, my dude.
If you can, let me go back to this top one. If you can't tell a story in less than 4 hours, it should not be one movie.
Right. It should be multiple movies. And again, you did all of that to go on the ass end of it and make a 4-hour movie when you could have just split this shit up. You would have made more money.
Mm-hmm.
The product would have been better because
and you would have had
focus.
More time.
You
could have made them both 2.5 hours.
We did not need you to rush their stories. We did not need that.
Remember when Avengers Infinity War Endgame weren't named and they were just both part 1 and 2?
Yes, part 1 and part 2, right.
That is what I would have. It would have been much better for Justice League. Justice League Part 1, Part 2, Part 1, Part 2.
Right.
That's with the caveat that there should not have been a Justice League movie at all at that point. No. But it would have been better if they Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah.
That there should not have. How this should have gone, in my humble opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Man of Steel. A Batman movie. It being BVS, ideally, I would not have wanted it to be BVS.
No, but you know what? They could have got away with it because if you're in the comic books, when Superman and Batman first met each other, it was a conflict because Superman thought he was a villain and Batman played into that by kidnapping people to keep Superman. So I get, but I
would have preferred
Batman his own shit.
I would prefer Batman having his, especially because of how they did Justice League. Yeah. I would have preferred Batman having his own movie and Diana being introduced.
And you know what they could have done with that too? Just think, just as a comic book fan, just throwing it out there. You made Robin Dick Grayson, you killed him off before we got to see him do anything.
Oh,
you could have done that.
Don't get me started on this nightmare scene.
Man, fuck out. Listen, you could have done that in the solo Batman movie.
Yes.
Had us feeling all of that pain.
Yes.
Feeling for Batman.
Absolutely.
Come on,
because
man.
Realistically, I ain't gonna hold you. Sure, part of it is because I'm old. It is what it is. But in the nightmare scene, when the Joker was like, "Who have you lost?" My legitimate reaction was, "Yeah, who have you lost?" Initially,
because of the way they presented that into the lore.
And I'm thinking source material. I'm like, all right, you and Diane, but no, Diane,
his mama.
Yeah, she's not there right now. But I'm like, oh shit, daddy. Your mother and your dad. Okay, and then he was like, and Robin. I was like, oh right, because they killed him off fucking screen before we even got a chance to meet him.
Dumb. Yo, can you imagine with the right writers, the Batman solo movie? No one would have saw this coming. That Robin dies in that. Nobody would have saw that coming.
Nobody.
We would have figured, oh yeah, Batman and Robin.
Oh, it would have been praised beyond anything. They had now, of course, there would have been people who were mad.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that
I wouldn't have did. Too. I wouldn't have did. Honestly, this is what I would have did. You know how I feel about Man of Steel, but fine, it happened.
Right.
But my Batman movie would have been, even though this isn't chronological.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I would have had Tim Drake. I would have had the Joker kill Tim Drake.
Yes.
I would have had to
instead of Dick Grayson,
and Dick Grayson would still be alive.
Right.
And there would still be potential for Damien.
Right.
That's how I would have did it. And in that, like I said, in that somewhere you introduce Diana, she don't have to have the role that she had in BVS.
Right.
No, she just has to be introduced. It could have been a situation where Bruce was trying to find her or trying to find out how to, maybe he didn't know that the Joker killed Tim, right, and he was trying to find out what the hell was going on, and somehow some body that Joker was connected to somebody that Diana happened to be looking for, and that's how Bruce and Diana meet and blah blah blah. You could have did that. Then, by the way, what I'm saying is, within the span of 6 movies, Superman should not have died, come back to life, and then be
agreed.
That's not what should have happened. Like, agreed. I don't.
Again, all of this was based around having a conflicting philosophy on what they wanted to do. They at the same time were idolizing Marvel and trying to compete with Marvel.
Yeah.
And then trying to say, we different than Marvel.
No, just follow the blueprint.
Just follow the blueprint. I'm not saying y'all couldn't have went dark, because if you look at the history of DC Comics and Marvel, there were different periods and eras where Marvel was more lighthearted and DC was dark, and then vice versa.
Right.
Y'all could have done that, but dude, fix your fucking color palette.
Yeah.
That's one. Fix your color palette.
No, because you know what happened? You would have had to get rid of Zack Snyder. And I'm not mad at that idea, but they were all in on Zack Snyder.
They were, and they shouldn't have been.
So
they shouldn't have been.
I agree.
Shouldn't have been.
But I feel like Zack could have worked if the idea was, all right, I'm about to say something that I don't fully agree with, but I don't have any other way to say it.
To express it right.
Leave Zack alone. Let him do what the fuck he wants to do with these characters.
Yeah. You
don't bring in Joss Whedon. You don't have the studio fighting about what he can and cannot do.
And WB fighting with AT&T.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, telling him he can't make a 4-hour movie? Absolutely. Yes. That type of interference? Sure. Right. Yes, do that. But as far as creative and all that other stuff, let the creators create to a certain extent. If Zack was supposed to be that guy, let him be that guy. Right. Let him be the Kevin Feige. The only issue with that is he would have had to direct less, and he might not have liked that.
Also, I did see a kind of a short roadmap of what he had planned. Some of the stuff he had planned, I did not think was a great idea, but you also have to let the movie play out to see if it's executed correctly, right?
Because are we still even getting a Flashpoint movie? I feel like they had a way to set up Flashpoint in the fucking Snyder Cut, but they didn't.
Well, they tried.
I don't know if the Nightmare thing is supposed to be a weird take on Flashpoint.
From what I've been reading, yes.
Okay.
And again, this is what happens when you rush it and then your shit is all over the place. Right. Because if you look at that first original cut, the original cut had shit in it that seemed haphazard. And that's why when I see people that was lauding it, I was confused.
Yeah.
I said, so you didn't find it awkward that Batman has this lucid dream about Flash going to save Marvel? You didn't think that was weird? Because I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird.
And when in reality, Zack had a plan for them.
Yeah. And I think the main reason I thought it was weird is because, and I know this is just, I am one of those individuals that look at it from that perspective. I don't expect everybody else to see it that way. They don't go in it looking for that.
Right.
Pacing matters to me. And when something is dropped in and it's jarring and it seems to fuck up the beats, like, why is this there? It becomes obvious. I look at it like, why is this here? Now, there are times when I've been in movie theaters and maybe fell asleep for like 3-4 minutes and maybe miss some shit that would have made that later thing relevant. It's happened.
Yeah.
But this is not the case with this. I watched the other thing, was like, what? Though that part was so jarring that my brain was trying to figure out why is that where, and then I'm going back in the Rolodex of my mind to previous scenes to see what could have led to that thing. So meanwhile, the movie's still going on.
Right.
That shouldn't be a thing.
That could never happen. Here's the thing. Like I said earlier, these things, these individual pieces work. They just aren't put together well. Because the idea of Bruce having a dream of Barry telling him Lois is the key. And then the next time it's Bruce telling Diana about this, and Diana saying, well, yeah, she was the key. We got Superman back. And Bruce saying, no, it's something more than that.
Right.
Then whatever the fuck happened with that nightmare scene, I'm going to get to that. Not the way it happened, but something happening with that type of scenario. That is a perfect through line. That makes sense.
Right.
On its own.
Because she's the key, and when something happens to her,
right.
Soup is off the rails.
We were told you shouldn't have let her die.
Right. Right.
You won't die. You won't allow yourself to die. You shouldn't have let her die.
Right.
It was almost the whole, you're not the guy to jump on the grenade. It was a little bit of that.
It's almost one of those things.
A little bit of that.
Yo, everything special about you came out of a bank account. That's right. I said it. Out of a bank account.
So the nightmare scene, right? Here's the thing for me. Just the like you mentioned, the pacing and where you put things, and I am going to be magnanimous, and I'm going to say that Lex escaping Arkham, the nightmare scene itself, and Martian Manhunter showing up are 3 end credit scenes, 3 separate end credit scenes. Here's the thing. I'm wrong, because literally the nightmare scene was a nightmare that Bruce woke up to and then walked outside to see Martian Man. But regardless, I'm going to, for the purposes of this, I'm going to use them as 3 end credit scenes. I think what they did was, there's a fine line to some of this promotion shit. And I think they stepped over the line. They missed. They just missed. Because when you promote something in this way, like Marvel has shown us, the key is to get people asking questions, but not have them necessarily confused.
Facts.
So when you show me in succession with no credits in between,
right?
When you show me Lex breaking out of Arkham, Deathstroke coming, Lex telling him, I have something for you.
Right.
Batman's name is Bruce Wayne. Deathstroke being like, oh, this is a done deal. We have something to celebrate. And then the very next scene, you have Slade standing next to Bruce.
Yeah.
It's disjointing.
And also, the elephant in the room for me is, while I don't believe that exposition solves every story issue,
right?
There are times when it's needed because time constraints, and it fits in the right spots. Why is Bruce dreaming about when has Bruce had the power to dream about the future?
Right.
When does Flash being able to run in time have an effect on people's dreams? Make it make sense, because I read comic books.
Yeah.
So if you put an explanation,
if you give us a reason,
give us one. But that always rubbed me the wrong way, because Batman's not psychic. He doesn't have that. Yeah. Right. Like, please explain that to me.
Yeah. So I do. I don't know if the word is like. I do appreciate them not having the line in the Snyder cut about maybe I missed it. Did they say in the Snyder Cut about the whole Flash? You have to touch the box at the moment that it touches the water. Did they say that in Snyder Cut?
Say what now?
Did they say the thing about Flash having to touch the mother box the moment that it touches the water? Did they say that in the Snyder Cut?
I don't remember. It was 4 hours.
Well, I don't remember. I don't think they said it in the Snyder Cut because I was thinking that that whole scene. I was like, all right, they didn't say it yet. They didn't say it yet.
Hold on for 1 second.
God damn it. This old man. August says, man, I haven't seen this, but it sounds like such an acid trip version of the traditional arc. But not only that, so many inconsistencies in the movie itself. Well, here's the thing. I consider the DCEU like a lie. Why do I say that? Well, when you tell a lie, you A, have to remember that lie, and B, when people start probing, you have to tell other lies in order to cover it up. There is no starting over until you tell the truth, and telling the truth is counterproductive to your original goal. So it doesn't behoove you to start over. So you're at a point where you've invested in this lie, and in order for that initial lie to work, you now have to tell this lie. Everything that you do from that point on forward is based on that initial investment. That's what the DCEU is. They started off wrong. Toom and I disagree on this. Toom likes Man of Steel. I don't like Man of Steel. But I don't know if it was the plan, but it wasn't necessarily announced that this was going to be an interconnected universe when Man of Steel was announced. It might have been announced by the time it was released, but I don't think it was announced when Man of Steel was announced. Then the next movie in the universe is Batman versus Superman, which they literally did that movie so they can get the Trinity on screen together, which I look at all these things from two sides. I look at it from my biased side, and I look at it from my unbiased side. When I saw the Trinity on screen together for the first time, I flipped the fuck out. Fanboy shit.
Same.
However, it's not something that should have been happening. I can separate the two. I was extremely happy to see the shit.
Yeah.
But I also realized it's not something that should have been happening at that point.
It was too soon. And yes, me seeing him in the trailer when I saw him, I geeked.
Right.
The Trinity. But, and this is the curse of also my particular frame of mind these days with this sort of content. I've seen it good. So it's hard for me to go back to that. It's hard for me to go back to that. And that means, I know I'm spoiled. I know I want ice cream for breakfast.
I had cheesecake for breakfast.
That sounds amazing.
A Snickers cheesecake.
My inner fat boy just whip.
Nigga. not outer fat boy whip.
Nigga.
You heard me. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Nah, I bet. I just, look, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm going to be petty with this because motherfuckers was reaching and grasping for straws.
Yeah.
MCU is over. Are you shitting me? DC had a good weekend and I celebrated too. Because contrary to what people might think, because I do lean Marvel, I love DC Comics. I love the characters. I read the book. I currently read DC titles. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted it to be successful, but I don't need for it to be trash.
Right.
To the point where it ruins my perceptions of the comic book stuff, because that's why a lot of times I do go back and watch the old Justice League Unlimited shit, because to me, that's when y'all was doing it. That's the feel. Yeah. That's the feel. Well, and y'all had a blueprint and you did this.
To sum that up, in my own words, the MCU started in 2008. I There's nothing you can do to convince me outside of catastrophic events outside of people's control,
right,
that it won't still be a thing in 2028.
I am convinced of it.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of it.
The roadmap already is reaching 2024.
Yeah.
So with the DCEU starting much later, you can't convince me right now that it'll be a thing in 2024.
Yeah, it's sad. And you know what thing that's crazy about that? Because if you really look at the timeline, so the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve came out in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
The late fucking 70s. And it was a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Part 1 and Part 2
mm-hmm.
were blockbuster movies, captivated pop culture. Years down the line, after a string of shitty Superman movies, after those first two, right? We got the Michael Keaton Batman. For those of you who are too young at the time to realize, I'm telling you now, this motherfucker got Prince to produce the soundtrack. He had Jack Nicholson play the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
It was big as shit. When I went to see that in the movie theaters, I went to see it at Security Mall.
Wait, no, that's not the soundtrack Christopher Rose was on. Christopher Rose
was on. Yeah. That entire soundtrack was so dope. I was rocking to that outside of the movie, but went and bought the motherfucker, right? Hard.
Mm-hmm.
The line, I went to see up Security Mall. The line stretched from the movie theater, which at the time was disconnected. I don't know if it's still disconnected from the mall, but it was disconnected from the mall. From the actual box office all the way around to the entrance of Security Mall. That's where the line. It was humongous.
Right.
So I don't want to hear the excuses. Y'all had a running start that Marvel did not have.
Nah, dude.
The closest you can even come.
Comic book movies weren't a genre.
They weren't even a genre. These were outlier movies that weren't even connected to one another. But y'all was in Hollywood. Y'all had made successful movies. The franchises was doing really well. The iconic status of these characters grew. I don't want to hear your whining. You had Wonder Woman on television, and it was doing great numbers and getting great results. You had the incredible. Well, excuse me, that's Marvel. That's the only thing I can think of Marvel that was rocking around that time was the Incredible Hulk on TV. They did a shitty version of Captain America. I don't know if it was a movie because it was probably a little before my time. Either a movie or it was a TV, whatever. It was shitty. It was trash. They did a Nicholas Hammond was Spider-Man in a live action series that didn't last long. He literally was swinging on the same building all the time. The rope didn't even look like web, and he wasn't swinging like this. He was swinging like this from one thing to the next. It was bad. The eyes of the outfit were on the outside, kind of like it was bad. DC. You dropped the ball with this. Nobody else to blame but Warner Brothers and their bullshit because you had a head start. No, must I remind you all about Batman Begins?
No, that's what I was about to say earlier. They could have started
facts
then. The only reason they didn't is because Nolan didn't want to keep making movies.
That's all.
Well, that's all. No, hold on. I argue that if Heath Ledger hadn't died,
they would have done that.
Even if Nolan didn't want to continue, they would have replaced him. They would have replaced him.
Agreed.
Because where that was heading, it absolutely could have been a cinematic universe.
Yeah. Yo, absolutely. And that's why, like I said, your excuses are drowned in thunder. I don't want to hear it because I literally watched the MCU come up and lap you. And mind you, MCU wasn't all successful, great movies, especially in that first phase, right? So we're not going to do that. But guess what? talk about coming in the
Phase 2
final
was
quarter, nigga. When that Avengers movie took place, I remember sitting in the theater, and that scene where they were all in a circle waiting as the Chitauri was coming down, and the camera was doing that orbital pan around. My inner geek was just, they did it. Mind you, this is like in the third act.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying this entire thing up till now. It wasn't until the third act where I said they did it.
Yep.
They did it. They did it. Why am I not watching Avengers all the time?
Right.
Like, every waking moment. Why am I? Like, they did it.
And again, to Stillman, the MCU hasn't just been successful. The very next movie was Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
So we are not trying to hide or ignore the failures that the MCU had.
No, we are not. But you know what happens when you succeed really well? You have cushion for your failures.
Mm-hmm.
You have cushion. They had cushion. I watched that, and it did not turn me off to the MCU entire. It did not turn me off to the concept. It just said, well, this movie wasn't the best outing right here, right? That's all it did. I kept that localized because I still love the MCU. See what you do next. All right, you swung, you missed. Let's see what happens next.
Right.
And that's what I would have been with DC had the string of failures had not become broad Enakian. And that's what happened.
They don't seem to have a
direction.
Desire. Well, sure. Zach clearly has a direction that he wants to go in. And first of all, there's no way in the world that. Well, I'm sorry. First of all, if you can't tell a story in less than 4 hours, it shouldn't be one
Facts.
movie. I had to read that verbatim again. But second of all, there's no way in the world that he should have 2 times under his belt where the studio had to put out his version of the movie.
Right.
Has that ever happened in a series?
I can't think of a single other time. Please, somebody, if it has, inform us. Let us know, because I
twice in one series.
You know what's so crazy about that too, bro? The people that are in denial about the failures of the DC movieverse, the very fact that they had to do this shit twice, this should illustrate to you how they were failing.
Right.
And I said at the time that Batman versus Superman was a failed attempt. Was it as hideously bad as some people made it out before? No. And
it made its money.
But it was a failure, a narrative failure, nonetheless.
To be clear, it was always going to make its money.
It was all because
it had the Trinity, but on top of having the Trinity itself, it had 2 of the 3 most popular superheroes of all time.
And ever. Also,
for the first time.
Time to be petty. Also time for me to be petty again. They can thank Marvel for that money.
Sure.
For the positive reinforcement.
Absolutely.
Of the idea of comic book movies.
The team up comic book movie.
Yeah.
It was, yo, listen to me clearly. That movie could have been, as long as it was feature length.
Yeah.
And had those 3 characters in it, it was going to do numbers.
Yes.
Just plain and simple. It was a perfect storm, honestly. And that's why I blame the studio, because that was a money move.
Yeah.
That was a money move. It wasn't about long-term sustainability. It was about popping this bag real quick.
Yep.
And they did. And they did. So, I mean.
And that's why you got to go and look at.
They'll argue that they won.
Well, they can't, though. Go look at Super Sai's blog, where he breaks down numbers. I don't think this is a win. He breaks down the numbers as far as the early viewing.
Oh, no, I'm talking about BVS.
Oh, yeah. They made money with BVS.
Yeah.
They made money with BVS, but they'll count that as a win, but I won't, because part of winning is long-term success too. So
absolutely,
like,
especially when that's the plan. We know you told us this.
You
is the
told
plan.
us that's what the plan was.
Yeah.
See, the reason why we say Marvel winning long-term is because think about this: 2008.
We ain't know. They ain't
Nobody. They ain't know. They just said it'd be nice,
know. Right.
and they threw little things. We
And
found old deleted scenes.
Yeah.
You know, where they talked about this shit, but they didn't know, and they ain't even have all of the characters that they needed to have under there,
or the
budget for that shit. They ain't know. Long-term success, though. Long-term success means you got a string of successes so good that the few losses you take won't hurt you and stop the train.
Yeah.
It won't stop the train. So what these motherfuckers have done, look what they've done. From 2008, we are now 2021. 2008, 2021. You know how many bags these motherfuckers have collected and potentially are still going to collect? Just this year, they had 2 #1 shows on television. Just this year.
Just this year. It's not even halfway through yet.
They halfway through. We got Loki next month.
Loki's coming. Black Widow's coming.
Oh my.
Yo, Black Widow's going to do numbers.
Eternals is coming.
Nigga.
I just
thought about it.
When I saw that trailer.
Opening back up.
Oh my goodness.
And Black Widow being the second woman superhero. Well, Captain Marvel, but people claim they didn't like that.
That's not what that ain't what the numbers
say at all.
That's what the numbers say.
People claimed it, but Black Widow being the third movie, but the first character of the 3 of them to debut the way that they did, that's gonna be big, yo. And it's gonna be with her being dead, all that is going to combine.
It's gonna be big.
That taps into your nostalgia a little bit. You know, this character is dead, and
especially for me. I mean, I'm not gonna go to the theaters to see it. I'm gonna watch that shit at my house. But at the same time, like for me, you know how high we was on Natasha.
Facts.
Just as a complete badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm anxious to see it. I've been cussing Kevin Feige out for the last year on the Metas and Mutant show. Like, Feige, run me my widow.
This is my
widow. Now. You know what I'm saying?
Because Black Widow evolved from being a honeypot,
yes,
to a fully fleshed out character.
Yeah.
Arguably, like, there were always jokes about the Avengers, the original 6, in the MCU.
Yes.
Now the only person that has not held their weight as a founding member is Hawkeye.
Yeah. That's about to change too. He's about to have his series.
Right. So Natasha has absolutely earned her place as a founding member of the Avengers.
I'll hear no Natasha slander.
No slander whatsoever.
I'll hear no Natasha slander.
She was a huge part of Iron Man 2 working. She was a huge
Winter
Soldier working. She was a huge part
Civil War.
The Avengers. Civil War. Endgame.
I'll hear no Natasha slander, sir. None.
Like, I made the joke about Iron Man's story being the Infinity Saga.
Yes.
Natasha's story is the Avengers movies and Iron Man 2 and Winter Soldier.
What? I dare motherfucker tell me you not gonna slander somebody with scant armor, running head first into all kinds of danger. Not
the shits.
She pulled up on Proximity Midnight. For those of you that don't read the comics,
hand to hand
with her. For those who don't read the comics, Proximity Midnight was slapping the Hulk around in the comic books. Proximity Midnight, her worst showing was against Hold Your Horses. And as Guardian Goddess, Hela beat the shit out of her. But everybody else, with the exception of that fight she had with Luke Cage, which to me, Luke Cage, he went above his usual. This is a hallmark moment for Luke Cage to go hand to hand with Proximity Midnight. Natasha walked over there like, I don't give a fuck where you come from.
There were times when I had her at number 1. She might be number 2 fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
T'Challa might have.
He might have a slight edge over Cap, and he definitely got the edge over Winter Soldier. Look at most of them fights. Look at most of them fights between them.
Yeah, it didn't work well.
Yeah.
For the Winter Soldier, but Nat.
She's the only one of the only fighters over there who I felt like we would get a great fight from between her and Adora Milaje when she walked out. That's it.
No, when that scene happened, I was like, oh, maybe this might be. No, we ain't get to see it.
We didn't. No, we didn't. But
I don't like that.
When tell the truth,
in Winter Soldier, you saw that. Listen, they stood no chance.
Listen, let me tell you something.
And Falcon was like, "Yo, I don't want to be in this scenario.
I never felt the Dora Milaje was threatened more than when Killmonger fought them. I was like, they got a problem with him.
Thanks.
And when Natasha was, I was like, sis, you know I'm rooting for you, but Natasha's not to be fucked with.
Oh my God,
not to be fucked with.
Not at all.
She's not to be fucked with. Like. Just saying.
You're not displaying kindness, but don't take her kindness for weakness.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you swing on her, it's going to be something. I'm not saying she's going to be
because you're not going to connect because you're standing in front of her. That first swing is not going to connect.
It's going to be a miss or a block.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Or a block into a parry into a fucking Hurricane Rana or some shit. You listen.
You might win.
You might, because the door. That's the door.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But listen, that
fight. You've been in the fight.
You gonna listen. She walked up. Listen. Sometimes when you in a fight with obviously someone that appears to be your superior in physicality, right? You are extra revved up, because you feel like you need that to compensate for the physical differences. She walked up on Proximity Midnight calm, and said, she's not alone. Not yelling it, not battle crying it. She's
not sneak attack.
Nope.
Not superhero landing. None of that. She's not alone. Oh. Okay, this is a fight now. That was my thought. That's what in my head, I was like, all right. And then I was like,
I lost my mind when Okoye did this, and that was like, I'm like, oh, it's on.
And then also Wanda joining. All right, yo, really? I hate Age of Ultron, but the biggest thing that the MCU has going for it that the DCEU does not is not the success. Right. It is looking at what happened, regardless of whether it failed or not, and being able to make it work moving forward.
Facts.
Because as much as I didn't like Age of Ultron, I would not have felt the way I felt in Endgame. I mean, in Infinity War,
if not for Age of Ultron.
Yeah. If they weren't perceived as these little kids who didn't know exactly what the fuck they were doing, just knew what they were told. They got these powers and they doing shit. They don't really know how to use them. You having her being held prisoner by Vision, and also like that doesn't work without how she was portrayed.
Agreed.
So then you don't get the payoff in Infinity War when she comes down and she has to kill Vision. You don't get this payoff that you get in Endgame when she says you will.
When she pulled up on the insane guard panel. You will. When her head did this,
right? Oh, You don't get that without how she was portrayed in Age of
Ultron. Exactly.
It doesn't happen that way.
Exactly.
Exactly. EU, man.
And again, it's sad to say because, like, once again, we were rooting for you. We wanted you to succeed. Because I want, if you know me, you know I want badass shit all the time on tap.
Facts.
Badass shit on tap. And if you want to take from some source material from shit that I've been loving since a kid, do something with that shit that's gonna make me go, huh? Because what happens is all those old memories of when I was a kid, and it connects to. That's what Marvel did. When Marvel had these string of just epic moments in cinema, I said cinema, fuck y'all, cinema, right? It connects with all of the epic shit from when I was a kid, the comics I read, the cartoons I watched. All of it is this big. My first trip to Universal, where I got to go to Marvel Superhero. All of these things connect together in this whole geek love fest with them. And when DC did what it did with their cinema offerings,
they shit the bed, is what they did.
Yeah, it pulled away from my look. I grew up watching Super Friends, then reading those DC comics, right? Then as I got older, they had the Batman animated series, right? Then Smallville, I fucked with Smallville, especially the first 5 seasons of Smallville. I fucked with that. All of these different things, Justice League Unlimited, all these different things, only for y'all to culminate into that. Like that shit, no, absolutely not.
It's disturbing.
It's disturbing.
It's disappointing.
Very much so.
You had one job.
Just the one.
What Marvel did. Intercede your characters and your storylines,
right?
But follow that strategy.
Yes,
not exactly what they did, but what they ended up doing. Follow that.
Right.
Don't put out a bad Hulk movie. Well, depending on who you ask. Don't put out a bad Captain America movie. Don't put out a bad Thor movie.
Right.
But the overall idea of what Marvel did, do that. Don't put out a bad Iron Man movie after you already put out 2 good ones. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But the overall thing that they did, do that. Follow that. That works.
Concept. It works.
We've seen it.
And that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Like, it's like unlocking a puzzle, right? So once Marvel did the legwork to show you these apes respond like this when you do this thing like this. Okay. Thanks, guys. Time to make these billions.
Yo, listen to me clearly. I've had several wins or successes. I've come across.
Right.
I have created none of it.
Right.
I have looked at what other people have done, and I have reverse engineered it, and I said, that worked for you. Why did that work for you?
Yep.
This is what you did. All right. I can't do that exactly.
Right.
But I can take from it the stuff that I can implement.
Right.
If something I think you didn't work, I might tweak it a little bit.
Right. It doesn't work for me.
Evidence that it didn't work, then I'm definitely going to tweak it.
Right.
But you're the blueprint. I'm following you.
Right. I saw you do it.
That blueprint. You did it. It worked. I'm going to attempt to do this.
Yeah.
Do I have the same exact resources that you have? No. But I know that.
Right.
I know what resources I have. So I'm going to pool my resources and make little tinkers and all that other shit. And
exactly.
If I can get it to work. Did it work? Yes. Why did it work? Because I'm so great? No. It worked because I followed a blueprint, an established method of making the shit happen.
They figured it out, bro. You know what they didn't do? When you go in the military, right? There are certain psychological things they do to mentally train and prepare you for situations that you could come across when you're out in the field.
Yeah.
You know what they don't do? They don't reinvent the wheel every time. Like, they don't look. These are humans. Aha, we discovered they react mostly like this to this sort of stimulus. We'll keep doing that. They didn't say, It worked this time. Maybe it was a camera trick. Let's try something. No, they had established data to show consistently this is what we tend to get with the occasional outlier. This is what we tend to get, and this is what we want as a soldier, a Marine, a sailor, or whatever. Right. And they continue to do the shit. And do they add on to it? Of course, when they find new shit that works. But the point is, they don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and restart the whole thing.
Your process should always be editable.
Yeah, but they literally have a formula to it, and that works because they studied the human animal. The human animal responds this way.
All right. So let me say this, right? When I started getting older and I started realizing how much bigger the world is than a lot of people give credit for, I realized that I wanted parts of that. I wanted in, right?
Right.
So I started trying to figure out how I could best do that. And it occurred to me that wheels already existed. They already exist. They were there.
Right.
They were there. And some come attached to axles that are attached to suspension and frames and fiberglass and glass and a motor. And that's a thing that exists called a car. When I decided I wanted to move around more, I didn't try to figure out how to create an apparatus that would help me be more mobile.
It was already there.
It was already there. I just went and got one of those because somebody had already done the work for me.
Right. You didn't, in other words, you didn't need the balloon after all, Dumbo. You could already fly.
Right. Right. I got these big ass ears for no reason. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's just that simple sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just when you see people that purport to be professionals in that business, like y'all in this business, like
there are decades of source material. What are you talking about? It has nothing to do with originality. No. There's a strategy in place that has shown itself to work. And it has shown itself to work in your niche marketplace.
Yes, yes.
It's not like this is just movies in general. No.
Yeah, this wasn't Marvel didn't do a Western. Movies. Right. No, Marvel didn't do a Western.
Specifically comic book movies. You are the only, for all intents and purposes, other comic book company. Yeah. Of course, there are other comic book companies.
But come on, big boys.
Right.
They're the big boys.
They're the only other one. They showed you how it works. Just do that.
Yeah.
I don't
get why they chose to do this other thing. I don't know what they were thinking, but all I can say is it's hard when it's Marvel Studios. That's the problem. See, there's no DC Studios.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios, which means these are the folks that brought you all those cool ass comics and stories that you liked before. They are connected to those folks' lineage and all of that. So they have a certain love, a passion for these characters and authenticity because of these. This is the house ideas over there, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where that's why if they decide to change something about a character, I'm not going to trip. You know why I was tripping back in the day? Because these were companies that weren't really connected to the comic book. Right, they bought the licensing for the characters and they did what they wanted to do with them. And it's like, no, niggas, stop it. But this is Marvel Studio. This is their product, their IP. And the comic book shit change all the time. Yeah. So them deciding, nah, we're going to tweak this to make this like this. It instantly becomes canon for that universe because this is Marvel Studios.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what happened. Marvel came into this scenario. It was still its own company.
Yes.
Marvel still owned Marvel.
Yep.
Before the MCU even started, DC was owned by Warner Brothers already.
Yes.
So that's really the issue. When
it is
big business got in the way, instead of realizing I don't understand how. I think what happens is we've been fed this lie that you have to have foresight in business. It's only true when you start.
Facts.
Once you become a conglomerate, none of that other shit matters. You don't have to follow any of those rules anymore.
Right.
Because you've already made you've already got your tendrils into the industry that you're in.
Right.
And it's going to take a lot for you to go under.
That's all.
Shit is only for initial.
For the people that first start and have an idea and having that foresight to see where this could go. But once you're, this is the reason why that the phrase "too big to fail" is part of a lot of this shit. Not just in the fact that it's got its tendrils to the point where it's holding up an entire industry. So if it fails, the industry fails, and people don't want that to happen. But also the fact that you have a pool of money for a bunch of tries. You have pop culture relevancy, so you can go out there and put your name out there and say, we're looking for a director to do this. And the best directors know that they're going to get paid a nice chunk of money for going over here showing you what they can do. And they also know they benefit from the exposure because this company has a lot of money. So their work will be displayed in front of a lot of people, which will then in turn get them more work. Right. So you have all of these. This is the reason why it's hard to beat the gatekeepers, because the gatekeepers have established institutions that have a pool of capital to pull from. They already have the pop culture relevancy. They're already ingrained in societal thought and in the customer base's mind. Their name and brand recognition matters. That's why it's hard to beat the gatekeepers. That's why when the gatekeepers do get beat, you do have to celebrate that. But also, when the gatekeepers are teetering on the edge of falling down, you have a choice to make. They still have a bag of money. So if you are an independent creator, you have to make a choice. Now, I'm at the point in my creative life right now where I am interested in extorting a bag from the gatekeepers. I'm sorry. Just
give me the bag.
I need the bag. I need the bag. And those things that are passion projects like my music has, that's off the table. I'm not adding that. But I do a lot of creative shit. And any one of those other things that they want to give me a bag for, you can pay me. Fuck you, pay me. Fuck you, pay me. There you go.
Yeah,
give me my shit. If this is enough for me and mine to do what the other stage of our life, to do those things, you can have that. Ain't even what I'm mad at, because guess what I still got? I still got my computer. I still got this. I still got my creativity. I still got all this other stuff. I still got my allies, my people and shit. We'll come up with it. If we want to do something else, we'll come up with something else. But you need a bag to do some other shit. Like, period. Why does it seem like I'm not? Maybe it's the way the shade is at my back door, but I swear it looks like it's about to rain from where I'm looking at right now. I hope that's not the case.
Over here, my guy.
Shit.
It's blue skies, smiling
on me.
Nothing but blue skies that I see.
So I'm thinking we did have other stories, but we may have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we got this thing that we hope takes place today, so we can make moves. The closer we get to other moves, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, but we want to thank everybody that popped in again. We really appreciate you guys still being here. After all this time, we've been doing this for over 3 years now.
About that,
something like that.
November, I think.
November, it'll be 3 years, right? Yeah, we appreciate you guys immensely for listening to the podcast and on all of the different podcast outlets, as well as watching the live stream. Those of you that come here on the live stream, just know you are part of the Black Culture Geeks experience. It's been a while and it's going to get even crazier should the dominoes fall our way. You know what I'm saying? So with that, this is my man SPJ. I am Tombstone, the Dead Man, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, we are out. Peace.